All right. Well, I reckon it's time to do this shit again. How we roll. Yo, if you are watching this as a replay on my YouTube channel, please consider subscribing to the channel, liking the video, throw me a comment down there, hit the notification bell. I really appreciate it. It really helps the channel out. It really helps us help humanity here in our own little way, doesn't it? Anyway, welcome in, welcome back, welcome to, welcome through the kingdom of the ape. The apostate ape, that's me. And this is the channel where you can watch an undereducated hick from Alabama perform an intellectual takedown of the Christian faith, doctrine, and logic for your entertainment. But hopefully, and more importantly, to make the world a little bit better place by combating the ridiculous rise of this ridiculous Christian nationalism, which is basically a bunch of Christians with a bunch of power and a bunch of money who think they have some kind of divine right to make other people's lives miserable. By bringing back institutions like fucking slavery and manifesting destiny, which is theft through conquest, if you didn't know, should be pretty prevalent in today's ongoings. Anyway, we here on the right side of history will not stand for these religious affronts against humanity and free people. So that's why we're here, and that's why we do this. I keep my illustrious voice in the ears of all those willing to listen. And maybe, just maybe, hopefully, we'll talk a little sense into some of these folks out here. That's all we can do, isn't it? So that's why we're here. That's why we do this. That's why I try. That's why I put so much time into this every single day. It's activism. Also, don't be forgetting that the best friend of this channel is a Dr. Joshua Bowen, and his brilliant brain just bubbles over with biblical scholarship information. Also, he teaches people to learn many ancient languages, which he can speak a bunch of ancient languages himself. But anyway, he writes PhD Bible scholarship that is explicitly geared toward combating apologetics. And I don't know how you ask for anything much better than that, but whatever. Check him out. DigitalHammurabi.com is where you can find him and all his brilliant books and literatures. So check him out, DigitalHammurabi.com. Also, don't forget to mark them calendars, because this October, on the 23rd, the 24th, and the 25th, the Rocket City Reason Conference is going down. Don't be silly, Dr. Josh, you're so kind. Help the world out with all that brilliant knowledge. Anyway, 23rd, 24th, and 25th, Huntsville, Alabama, the Rocket City Reason Conference is going down. 3 whole days. The absolute biggest names in the atheist debating and deconstruction community are all going to be there. And it is going to be the greatest time that the deconstruction community has ever had. Ever. That's right. No exaggeration. No hyperbole there. It's just what's happening. So, if you want to come hang out with us and enjoy in the festivities, then get your tickets for that at RocketCityReason.com. Come hang out with us. That'll be cool. Hi, host. I saw your message post. A true Christian would never join your debate. You know why? Probably because they never read the fucking Bible and they're cowards. That's why. Congratulations. Anyway. All right, with the pleasantries out of the way. Ain't nobody trying to learn from you. This is a debate page. If you don't like it, get out of here. Nobody asked you to be here. Okay, well, cry about it a little more. Anyway, let's see if we can talk to some Christians with some courage around here. What does it say? Emily? Hey, guys.
Yo, what's up?
Mary. Hey, what's up, buddy? Are you a Christian?
Do you only talk to Christians? What if I don't label myself a Christian, but I believe in the Bible?
Yeah, we're just looking to talk to Christians.
Oh, okay. All right then.
Have a good one, man. Yep, just Christians. I came only for the ignorant and the evil. The Christians. Trying to talk some sense into them out up in here. Mm-hmm. All right. Oh yeah, I mean, so there was one day I went on 5 different Christian lives. I used the same argument every single time. They were all about justice. I used 2 Samuel 12 every single time. And I didn't last more than 5 minutes on a single foot. They couldn't kick me off there faster enough. Never raised my voice, never said anything. I said, God's killing a baby here. Being straight up. They don't stand. That's the difference between Christians and atheists. Atheists beg Christians to come up here and not leave. Christians can't get rid of an atheist fucking fast enough. They will kick you off so fast when they know they're cooked. I mean, it's just the position they're in, I guess. But well, tell God to come on down and change our beliefs then. Until then, we'll just keep talking to God's mama's followers in here. All right, where we at here? Dang, algorithm is slow this morning. It's barely moved at all. Should I be concerned, TikTok? Are you affiliated with the American Communist Party? No. I don't think anybody is hardly affiliated with the American Communist Party. It's just a bunch of dumb fuck MAGAs who think there's actually a bunch of communists trying to take over. Of course, the MAGA communist is anybody they don't like. Same with Christians. Words have no meanings at all. It's just mean what they want them to mean. Anyway. If that didn't clearly answer your question, you are a dumb motherfucker. Anyway. That's yeah. Anyway, if there's any Christians out there who want to debate a real live atheist today, then come on up. We'll give this topic here a minute and see if we can get on this. Let's see. Somebody requested up there. What's up, precious things? What's going on? There you have it. He's a communist. God damn. I can't tell if some people are really this stupid or they're just weird trolls with nothing better to do. It's really hard to tell. Really, really hard to tell. In fact, impossible to tell. Anyway, where are we at here? Damn, finally it's picking up a little bit. 8 minutes in. Golly. Wonder why some days it goes so fast and then other days it's so sluggish. Wonder what the difference is. Never figured it out. Alright, let's mute this dumb fuck. Alright. Move on elsewhere where somebody gives a fuck, dude. Blabbering your fucking nonsense in here. What up, Holla Jack? What's up, man? Haven't had a first. Well, we've had somebody request up, but it wasn't a. It was a Christian. It was. Wait a minute. I said that wrong. It was not a Christian, but one who believed in the Bible. Whatever the fuck that's supposed to be. I don't even understand it. Yeah, I was a Christian over 20 years, so good luck with that shit. Anyway. What's up? It's taking me a minute for the algorithm to get going today for some reason, but I guess it's going shit. Triple screen now, sorry. All right. You need to try it before saying, yeah, I tried it for 20 fucking years. I don't know what part of that you didn't hear. Goodness gracious. Anyway. Hey, Douglas, are you there?
Hey, good morning. Good morning. Hey, I totally respect your thoughts. So I may not be the right guest for you, but I guess my question is, what does it matter? Like in your daily life, what does it matter if somebody's a Christian or not? Like you
It doesn't
specifically.
matter. It matters to me when they vote their religious doctrine into legislations blatantly against the Constitution in a free country. That's what affects me, is when it affects my children.
Well, I mean, I would disagree with that. I think what would
Really?
affect you more would be economics.
Oh,
And
well, that too.
bec-
Yeah.
but I highly doubt that a Christian, anybody that, because Christians have been in it, they've ran this country for how many years? 250 years. Uh,
Well, grifters
and
did. I'm not
we're
sure they were
we're
Christians,
not
but
we're not
you
all
can claim
made
that.
to
Yeah.
carry a Bible. We're not all made to at 12 o'clock start singing praises to Jesus. So I mean, like I said, I think you're a smart guy. You're not a dumb guy at all. But I just wanted to know what affect you personally if somebody was a Christian. That's
Yeah.
all.
Like you
So
said, their votes, the economy, their blatant attacks on freedom, that kind of stuff.
yeah, I don't see
I
it
think
that
I have a
way. But
reason to
hey,
be here.
man,
In fact, it's the only reason I am here. I don't particularly enjoy this. I like
yeah,
talking to people, but not about this kind of shit. This isn't that fun to me. I don't
right,
like
right.
hearing that
What?
slavery's great and we should bring it back and I have the right to go take
Well,
other
those,
people's shit. And,
you know that those are low IQ people you're dealing with. That just, they're just
yeah, but
trying to
there's a bunch of them,
goose or
and they
however
have
they
voting
say it.
power, so they are a threat, even
Yeah,
though they're just
like I said,
dummies.
I'm never going to tell somebody not to. I mean, it's, First Amendment. You got your First Amendment, and I respect that totally. And I don't care if you believe in God or not believe in God. If you're broke down on the side of the road, I'm not going to ask you that. I'm just going to help you. So anyway, bud,
Same.
I wish the best of luck to you, and I do listen to you once in a while. I mean, because you do bring up some interesting points. But once again, I just wish the best for you, buddy. I appreciate you letting me come up.
Yeah, same man. No worries. Appreciate you saying that.
Could you drop me?
Have a good. Yeah, yeah, I got you. Well, oh shit. All right, let's move on here. Oh, where'd it go? There's a couple people in the queue. I guess they left. Shit. Anyway, where we at here? The algorithm's sort of kind of moving, but oh, handsome, are you there?
Hey, how you doing, man?
What's up, brother? Are you a Christian?
I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, but it's not like I cuss a lot, I smoke, I gamble. Yesterday I won some parlays on baseball, you know what I'm saying? Yankees came
Oh,
through.
so you're like a lukewarm Christian.
Nah, I'm cold. You gotta be two sides. I'm not in the middle.
Oh,
I'm either
oh,
hot or
well,
cold, man. I'm very hot sometimes,
all right. Well, watch anybody be a Christian.
but yeah, no, I mean, why should you? I don't know. I mean, I'd say why should
So
you?
you can be
Because
forgiven for your wicked ways and gamblings?
nah, nah, I don't think it's wicked, bro. I don't think I'm gonna
Or
be.
cursing that you ain't supposed to be doing?
Yeah, maybe that. But listen to this. I say this like,
So be a Christian and you can cuss all you want and God will forgive you for it. If not, he'll burn you in
nah,
hell for it.
nah. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm
Oh,
saying is, because even if you weren't a Christian, you could still cuss, and even if you
yeah.
weren't a Christian, you would also be a person that wouldn't cuss at all and think of it as something wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like there's
Yeah.
people who are atheists, but they act so high and mighty. You know what I'm saying? They never cuss. They're perfect, whatnot. But my point is this, right? When you were talking about the law and about Christianity, something about the Constitution, I
Yeah.
don't think it contradicts the Constitution. I don't think our
It
legislators are.
absolutely does. It was
Yeah,
already ruled
tell me why.
unconstitutional in 1963 because it violates
But
the First Amendment.
but why and how and what way and what happened in 1963?
Because this country does not tolerate through law church being
Religion.
involved in state or vice versa, right? So when
Yeah,
they
that's what I'm
pass laws
saying.
that mandates Bible readings in school and such, it is a blatant violation of the Constitution and has already been ruled a blatant violation of the Constitution.
But see, I disagree because it's not.
You
It
disagree with the Supreme Court?
But look, they didn't. That's in Texas, right? Where they're allowing it. That's the state.
Yeah,
They're
yeah, but in
choosing.
Alabama, they're still putting 10 Commandments in the classrooms. So I
Exactly.
don't want
Those
my
are
kid looking at that
states.
garbage.
But these are states, and that's what I'm saying. The majority of that
Still
state
against the
chose that.
Constitution. All the
But it's
states are
not,
under
because
federal
listen,
law.
it's a
under the
book.
Constitution. It's
When
the law of
when
the
the
land.
federal law makes us, our children, they tell us they have to go to school. You know what I'm saying? Like they gotta go to school, or else, you know, all that crap, or they have to be taught. You know, like you know what I'm talking about, right? You can't just have a child that's a citizen not go to school, or at least not be homeschooled. You get what I'm saying? So I'm saying this: when they're forced to go to school, they're forced to read books anyways. They're forced to listen to the teacher anyways. So
They're
if
not
gonna be
forced to read other people's religious doctrines. That's blatantly
not a religious doctrine,
unconstitutional.
though. It really isn't. It's just a book. You're just reading a book, man. You're
It's
just reading
not just a book. It's a religious book. It's a holy book that says,
But it's
do all
not-
this
it's
shit,
not
or I'll
church,
burn you
though.
for fucking ever.
It's not
They
a
take child
it's not a
sex
sermon.
slaves. Like my kids ain't reading that pro-slavery fucking garbage. It's not happening. I will
But
die
that's
before
not
my
what they're
child is
doing.
forced to read that under the threat of fucking law. I will literally fucking die for it.
But they're not. That's what I'm trying to say. Like
They
listen.
are. Texas just did it. What the fuck are you talking about?
For what? The first 10 commandments, bro. That's like what?
They
Why you mad about
mandated
that?
Bible reading in school.
Yeah, of the 10 commandments.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, I guarantee you.
That's to display the 10 Commandments in every single classroom. They want every single child staring at their fucking religious doctrine on the wall, and they also mandated Bible readings in school.
Like, I'm telling you, if
All right.
I'm looking at
Well, you
something,
just don't
it's
know
like
what the fuck
Buddha.
you're talking about, dude. And I can't hardly hear you anyway. So, anyway, dude's clearly in denial. Don't be an idiot, man. Grow up. Grow the fuck up. Enjoy freedom while you fucking have it. Because if it's it's left to folks like that right there, it's not gonna last long. It's gone. It's just a book. It's just a book, man. It's just a book. Yeah, it's just a book, all right. My fucking ass is just a book. It's a bunch of books. It's a bunch of pro-slavery garbage books. My kids ain't reading that fucking shit under threat. You fucking pry that fucking shit out of my cold dead fingers, as they say. Like, no. Host just hates the truth. Host hates facts. Damn it. Outrageous. What's up, buddy? What is going on, my man? That's a good shit right there. Damn. Are you working for the devil, looking for people's souls? That's right. Looking for souls out here. Good to see you too, man. What's up, dog? He's hilarious. He's hilarious. Yeah, no shit, yeah. Authoritarian text kind of book. That kind. Yeah. Anyway. Alright, so I've got some more experimental topics ready here. Let's try this one next. Man lying with man, that is of the devil. Okay. You should try it sometime. It'll feel like heaven. I suspect you'll like it an extra lot. Man, it's crazy how obsessed Christians are with the genitals of 1% of the population. It's utterly insane. In a free country, no less. Pretty crazy. God, what's your foreskin? It does seem to love foreskins. Wiener skin. Talks about sodomy a whole lot. I think we know what's on their minds. Pretty, something there. Yeah. Nora, what's up? What's going on, Nora? Good morning to everyone. We've only been going, it hasn't even been 20 minutes yet, I don't think. 18 minutes into the live so far. We just now changed to this background here, which is my main concern with the whole thing anyway. Yes, you can be a slave to sin. Yeah, it also says that in Romans, what is it, Romans 9? Romans 10? 6? Can't remember. It's one of them Romans. Good morning, White Nerdy. What's up? What's up? What's going on, y'all? My Yeehaw, what's up? Kimchi, how it is? Lees of Heaven, Cletus Van Dam. What's up, y'all? What's going on? Collected foreskins for God. You get like I think if you collect enough foreskins, there's like a prize list, I guess. Like if you get like 2,000, like the top prize is, I don't know, winning a battle against your enemies or something. Serve a good God. Serve a good God. Anyway. Alright, let's see.
So nice.
Hey, Opal, you there? Opal 10, are you there? I teacupped immediately. Might have been an accident. I'm going out on a limb here and saying Opal isn't here on purpose. Anyway. All right. Gotta give it a second to let the new background, what do you call it? Assimilate approvals. Then we're good to go. All right. Let's get her rocking. Oh yeah, this is a good community. It's the only community that actually accepts people for who they are and not fucking tries to force other people's conformity. There's only one group who truly appreciates the diversity of humanity, and that's us, the one who celebrates difference. Whereas Christians chew it up and spit it the fuck out. And suck it back up their bowls. Anyway. Yeah, we're dancing around some, I guess you noticed we're doing another background experiment here. Anyway, like I said, what we got here? Got 2 more minutes and I'll try a different one and then we'll do another one, I guess. Valerie, thank you.
Check.
Hey, Pix, are you there?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Yeah, what's up? Man?
To answer the thing.
Yeah, are you a
I
Christian?
think that, huh? What?
Are you a Christian?
Yes.
Okay. So,
Yeah. And
does God say you
to
can have
an-
slaves?
I believe you can because let's say someone is in debt to you, that it says they become your slave.
Yeah. So, do you have any slaves?
No, I don't try to let anyone be in debt to me or anything like that.
I'm
I'm
you wouldn't have
pretty
a problem
much
if somebody else had slaves, though, would you?
Let's see. I mean, as long as they're kind of, I don't know. I don't know how I'd feel about that, really. I mean,
Well, man,
I don't think
God says
anybody
it's okay.
needs-
Do you need another opinion?
well, that's in case you get in debt to someone. That's anybody. But
Well, it's just
I
for
don't
male
think that,
Hebrews. If anybody else is in debt to you, you get to keep them for life.
I don't think that, like the African slave trade thing, I don't think it should be like that. I think that's wrong.
You think it should be like biblical slavery, right?
Like if the guy, it's a scripture like in Proverbs or in Psalms, the debtor is a slave to the lender. Yeah, that's a slave.
Anyway, what would you think if I told you you've actually got it wrong? The Bible actually forbids debt slavery, but it allows chattel slavery like the antebellum South had.
I wouldn't. I'd say, wow, is that right? Can you prove that?
I can prove it. Turns out all we got to do is read it.
In the
So-
Old Testament, right?
Yeah. Well, and in the New Testament, like you ever heard of Paul's letter to Philemon?
Yeah. Now, Philemon was a slave that Paul had asked to let if the man who owned him would set him free so he could come help him.
Well, he didn't ask him to set him free. He asked him to accept him as a brother in Christ, right?
Yeah, asked him to accept him as a brother in Christ because and
Right.
let him go.
So,
and
right. So why didn't Paul write to that guy and say, hey, you're a Christian. You're not supposed to be owning slaves. What the hell do you got a slave for?
well, that was the law. That was the way the things worked then. That's
Right.
how
So
it was.
Christians, even after Jesus, were permitted to have slaves. And here's what I was talking about. This is from, it says, if any who are dependent on you become so impoverished that they sell themselves to you, you shall not make them serve as slaves. So this is saying you can't take a debt slave.
Oh,
This says you have to keep them as hired or bound laborers in verse 40.
okay.
Then it goes on
Yeah.
to say, as for the male and female slaves whom you may have, it is from the nations around you that you may acquire male and female slaves. You may also acquire them from the aliens residing with you and from their families who are with you, who have been born into your land, and they may be your property. You may keep them as a possession for your children after you, for them to inherit as property. These you may treat as slaves, but as for your fellow Israelites, no one shall rule over the other with harshness. So there it's saying
Yeah.
you can't make them serve as a debt slave, but you can go to the nations around you and get all the slaves you want and keep them forever, and they can be your property. So that's literally describing the chattel slavery in the antebellum South.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man.
Well, it's not cool. It's horrible.
Why?
Why?
Yeah, why?
Well, some people aren't complete pieces of shit, and they don't think this kind of stuff's okay.
I mean, I'm not wealthy or nothing. I don't have a lot of property or land and stuff to, where I would need slaves. But, if I was a man that was wealthy and I had that type of, that would be kind of, what's wrong with it? If it was
What's
legal.
wrong with owning other people as property and beating them? Oh, if it's legal, I mean,
Well,
nothing's
I
wrong with it if
mean,
it's legal, right?
you of course take care of them. I mean, you're responsible for everything of them.
Yeah,
Their
sort of
health.
like pets, right?
Well, they're not like pets. They're more like children.
Children
your
you can beat,
children.
right? Children you can beat and force to work in a field all day.
Well, they used to beat children. I took a couple of beatings when I was a kid. From my daddy.
Me too.
And you probably did too. So, I mean, what's
Sure
the
did.
difference?
I took a bunch of them, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. So what's the difference? I mean, I think that's where, you're taking that to a little too extreme. I don't think all slaves were beaten, They were
The Bible
probably
says you
treated
can beat
like,
them. And I mean,
Well,
of course,
probably-
you got to house them and keep them alive. I mean, you got to feed your labor, of course. It's like having cows that pull the
Yes.
plow. Like, of course, you got to keep them fed or they ain't going to pull the plow, right?
yeah, you got to have.
So, yeah, it has
places
nothing
for
to
them
do with
use the-
humanitarianism. It has to do with keeping your slave labor nice and strong.
Yeah, exactly. Keeping them happy.
Exactly. You're a gigantic piece of shit.
Me?
Yeah, you.
Me?
Listen to you.
What? But aren't you? Don't you have a job?
Are you fucking serious?
Don't you?
Yeah, I got a job.
Well, you got a job. I got a job, and we're basically kind of enslaved to that job. I mean, think about
Does your
it.
owner get to beat you?
I mean, they can, if I do something wrong or something, they can, it's not necessarily giving me a whooping or something, but it's what do you call it? A warning or and it escalates after that,
Yeah, like, 2 or 3 lashes compared to the usual 40, just to let you know you did something wrong, right?
Yeah, or something. But it's the same thing. We're slaves. We're slaves.
You're a gigantic piece of shit, dude. Holy shit. Anyway, imagine being that nonchalant about fucking chattel slavery in the antebellum. It's like, oh, what's wrong with that? Give you a little tap, it's working. Bruh. Oh, how fucking sad. How fucking sad, man. Yikes. Unreal. Hey, Mark, are you there?
What's going on, Abe? Can you hear me okay this time?
Yeah. What's up, man? Are you a Christian?
Of course.
Awesome.
Now,
Does God let you own slaves?
own slaves. This is an interesting topic. Not me personally. I don't know. Man. Oh,
Well, if you did own a slave, would God be okay with it?
If I did own a slave, would God be okay with it?
Yeah.
It's a good question. And truthfully, I don't know. I don't know if God would be okay with it because I don't know God's mind in that regard as to owning slaves.
I can tell you his mind if you're interested in knowing it.
Share it with me, Abe.
Yeah, he's totally 100% okay with slavery. Chattel slavery, just like in the antebellum South.
Oh, okay. Are you getting feedback? Can you hear yourself when you speak?
No. I can hear your
Okay,
heartbeat,
good.
but that's about it.
Oh man, yeah, I'm really in the lion's den here.
I'm telling you.
I've been listening to the same topic about chattel slaves and slavery for the last couple of days now, and everybody's different points of view, and I'm just kind of taking it all in and seeing different perspectives, and I don't side with one side or the other. I'm not gonna.
Well, do you sign
Take
with
God's
God or
side.
do you sign with man?
I mean, that's kind of a
Do you side
pigeonhole
with the
question.
world or you decide with the flesh or the spirit?
I guess you could say I'm still deciding. I'm in the decision making. How about that?
Well, how long does it take to decide if you're against slavery or not?
Well, ultimately, I would have to say that I would be against slavery. Therefore, and under the logic that we're having a conversation on, I would be against God. Now, yeah, I mean, logically, that would be the path to follow, the pathos.
Well, I would
So
salute
can
you
you?
for taking that decision if that's actually what you're doing.
So now, can you explain to me, Abe, more contextually about, from a biblical standpoint, of what? Enlighten me, Abe, on God's stance with slavery, and not necessarily a convoluted point, but more so, like, what is the overarching picture here? Is it because of the times that they were living in that we were talking about slaves and, kind of the laws and regulations around it? And then we as people have grown away from that, therefore have the guidelines changed?
No. God didn't give changing guidelines. There's no
Holy
such thing.
shit, there's a fucking rolling tire in the road. That's crazy.
Son.
Something.
Right. Yeah. Well, the Bible says you can own slaves, you can beat slaves, you can sell your daughter as a slave, you can take women and children as slaves in war, you can force them to marry you, you can force them to sleep with you. Even in the New Testament, like we was talking about with the letter to Philemon, Paul's asking a Christian guy, to accept a runaway slave back as a brother in Christ. So it's awfully concerning to me that Paul didn't say, hey, as a Christian, we're not supposed to be having slaves. What the hell do you got a slave for? But he didn't. So Paul didn't get the message that slavery was off the table for Christians.
But was it ever a command under the old law?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, Deuteronomy 20.
And what does Deuteronomy 20 say? I'm not familiar. I'm in Leviticus right now. I'm getting there.
It's talking about warfare. It says if you go out to war, you have to offer whoever you're about to siege terms of peace. And if they accept your terms of peace, then they all get to be your slaves. And if they don't, then you have to make war against them and put all the males to the sword. But you can, however, take as your plunder the women and the children. And if you find one of them attractive, you can force them to marry you.
Huh.
Which is slavery and rape at the same time.
Now, my next question would be, is if this is... My mind's going in two different paths, sorry. I'm looking at one side being the historical overarching picture, and the other side being, is this what God is condoning? Or is he allowing us the free will to engage in these types of behaviors?
There's no free will, it's the commands. And here, we'll squash that right now. It says, these are the statutes and ordinances you must diligently observe in the land that the Lord your God of your ancestors has given you to occupy all the days that you live on this earth. Be careful to obey all the words that I command you, so that it may go well with you and your children after you forever, because you will be doing what is good and right in the sight of the Lord your God. So there you go, forever. All the days that you live on the earth, you and your children after you forever. It's pretty clear, right?
Okay. So I hear a man's about what is right. But that's
breaking up
off
really
what's
bad.
right in the Lord. And that man is not...
Yeah, slavery is perfectly fine in the eyes of
let me know when it gets better. Is it... or is it perfectly fine in the eyes of man? And
it's fine in the eyes of the Lord because it's in his commands. It says, be careful to obey all the words.
Ooh, that's a slippery
that I
slope,
command
because
you.
what you could have done was...
I don't know what's happening, man. I don't know if your signal's really bad or what, but we're not having a
That's
linear
because it's
discussion
from-
here for some reason. So let me move on. Alright. I don't think this guest is here on purpose. Oh, that was Jay again. Shit. Hey, Soul Pack, are you there?
Hello, hello, hello.
Hey, what's up, man? Are you one of the Christians?
Yeah, man, absolutely, man. I'm his creation, man. So I'm gonna set it like this. So because God accounts for me and you, and so I'm gonna draw this line where He stands between you and I. And when God is the God of creation, He can permit, and He can actually qualify the cause that He needs to. So now I'm gonna rewind back, and I'm gonna take you back, just so for the account that people understand. So when God created everything, right? When God created everything, there was a fall. So now, whether you want to accept that or you want to believe that. The thing is, the fall was a corruption that actually separated, you know what I'm saying? The two different backgrounds, the two different accounts of what God had in plan and what the fall had in plan. So now, if you ask me, if you ask a firm believer, does God can have slaves? If God permitted it and He needed to, there was a reason why. But because in the corruption of time, the fallen had already taken over so many lives, and we know that in historical teachings.
So you can have slaves?
Like I said, I think we're all getting the concept, and the teachings are so corrupted that what I'm getting and what I'm understanding is the people of God, right? The people are God. Like, if you understand, God is just. Now,
God's definitely not just, though.
He absolutely is, because there is the
There's
seed
no
of
way.
the
It's
fallen.
impossible.
There is the seed of the fallen that are blaming things now, and they are pointing back to God because of their behavior.
I'm pointing at God's behavior. God acts directly against justice. In fact, He acts against His own standards of justice. So how He ends up being just is beyond my comprehension.
Okay.
Could you explain
So
that for me?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. So do you believe in God yourself?
No, I'm an atheist.
Oh, okay. So you're an atheist. Okay,
Yeah.
so if you're an atheist, absolutely the reason why. So atheists and Gnostics are somewhat, they share the similar kind of a standpoint. Because if you understand God and His will and what He needed to do, you know what I'm saying, and you would understand the fall, then the story is not going to contradict. But then absolutely, we know that the word was in the hands of corrupted carnal men. So now,
Well, I
mind you,
mean, we're not getting to justice though. I'm saying God is unjust because He says doing this thing is unjust. He says this is wrong, don't do it, and then God does the thing that He says is wrong. How is that
okay,
not? How is that just when He violates His own standards?
okay, didn't we know that the persecuted and the people that God actually gave His assignment to were the slaves, right? Before it took the turn. You see where I'm getting at?
No.
You see where I'm getting at, right? Because in the beginning of the establishment and the journey of the covenant, did God slave anybody from the beginning?
Yeah.
Who did He slave?
Slaves of Israelites.
Nah. Mind you, before the covenant was established, that was 4,000 years ago in the Mesopotamia civilization. We had so many wide open, idol worshiping people there. Do you know who these people were?
I don't know.
Can
I'm
you
talking
take
about
account?
God though.
Yeah, I know. So while you're
I'm
talking about
wondering
God,
how God says this is bad, and then He does the thing He says is bad. How that's justice is what I'm wondering.
so God had a plan, right? God had a plan. Let me explain to you. So with that fallen, the seed that was gonna evolve and continue on was a bad seed. So God needed to actually erase and try to purify the bloodline, if that makes any sense to you. So I'm saying everything that came and birth, that was like a birth, that was like a curse. So with the curse that was being placed there, if God needed to, like I said, right? He's the God of the creation. If He permitted it, He had a plan to, perfectly executed it. You know why? Because now we see a whole
You
different.
still haven't answered my question.
What's your question?
If God says something is wrong and then does what He says is wrong, how is that justice?
God has never said anything that was wrong. God is the truth. He doesn't
Yes,
say
He
nothing.
does. He says
No, He
doing
doesn't.
this is bad and this is injustice. Don't do it. I hate it. And then He
What's,
does the thing that He says He hates.
what
There's
scripture is
clear
this?
examples of this.
What scripture is that?
It's a bunch of scriptures, but he says like in Ezekiel 18, he says in Deuteronomy, he says punishing the son for the sin of the father is unjust and it's wrong, doesn't he?
Punishing the son? Wait, what? What's that?
Punishing the son for the sin of the father or the father for the sin of the son is wrong. He says that's bad, he hates it, and it's unjust, doesn't he?
Are you quoting the Messiah?
It's Ezekiel. I'm quoting God. It's Ezekiel 18.
So he's saying what now? I'm sorry, man. One more time.
He says punishing the son for the sin of the father is bad. He says that is injustice.
Okay, so the context obviously refers and it points out a relationship between the son and the father. So that's why I'm trying to understand that passage. Who is it?
He's just saying that you shall not punish the son for the sin of the father because they didn't do it, right? They're not the ones who committed the sin. The one who committed the sin has to be punished, right?
No, okay. So punishing the son, as we know, right, is the Messiah, right? Because he came and he got punished, right?
This isn't about a Messiah. This is just God's view on, in general, punishing the son for the sins of the father or the father for the sin of the son. This is about personal credibility. It's saying if you did the sin, then you're the one who gets the punishment, is what God says, right?
I mean, do you even understand the word of God, or do you know who's teaching, or what timeline?
I'm just asking if you understand that very simple logic there.
I mean, yeah, there's a whole lot of logic there, brother. Like, if you ask me if I'm going to punish or if I'm going to permit such thing, I'm not going to be able to do that. That's totally unjust for me as a man.
It is unjust, isn't it?
But right. I'm not.
Exactly.
I'm not God. I'm not God. You see what I'm saying? So
that's what I've been asking you this whole time. If God tells you that it's unjust to do that, and you know it's unjust to do that, when God does the thing that he said is unjust, how in the world is that actually justice?
Well, I mean, let's identify exactly, you know what I'm saying, the people, you know what I'm saying, who did it. I mean, were these guys people or were these
yes, God's people. Yeah.
God gave his assignment. Like I said, he gave his assignment. He gave his
Do you know what happened to David and Bathsheba's infant son?
I knew David fell from his empire because, you know what I'm saying, he was actually David was actually he was deceived. He was deceived by a woman, by a slave.
Do you know what happened to him and Bathsheba's infant son?
I mean, do you mind explaining it?
God killed it. He struck it ill.
Yeah, because wasn't that the child that came out of the slave?
It came out of David.
Yeah, I mean both David and that slave, right?
David and Bathsheba.
Yeah, Bathsheba. Yeah, that sounds like the slave. Like
she wasn't a slave, and she was the queen after this. She bore him Solomon. God loved that baby. He made it a wise kingdom, rich king. But the one before that, with the same women, he killed.
But you said God killed it?
Yes, he killed their infant son. For adultery that it did not commit.
Yeah, how did that happen though? How did God kill it?
He struck it ill.
He struck it. Wow.
It says the Lord struck the child and it became very ill, and then a week later it dies.
I mean, man, I understand your concern, but like I said, man, the way that God and the beginning of God's work and his assignment, man, it was between the devil and him the whole time that we came along.
Well, God is the one who killed this innocent child for something that it didn't do. And to me, that's absolutely, obviously, and utterly injustice. Like, this is plain evil.
I just know now that none of that stuff permits nowadays, right? Unless all these other crazy cases that the media ain't
God
really,
still did it. He still did it. And this
like
is just one example of many like this. God kills innocent children on the constant.
Hey, man.
In the Bible.
Look, hey, man, I respect you, man, and your point of stance. I can leave you with this. Look, now we have the salvation. I mean, I'm not bondage. I'm not stuck in the past to where I got to blame people for what happened. So, you know, my belief.
Well, I'm blaming God for what God did. I'm holding God accountable.
I mean, yeah, you can all you want, but guess what, man? We're gonna all get judged one day. So if
We're
you
going to
come
get
in that
judged
line,
by
bro,
the baby murderer?
hey, man, that's the truth. I'm not making this up.
Well, it's not the truth. It's ridiculous.
I
He's
mean,
going to
yeah,
say, yeah, the almighty, all-knowing killer of babies is going to judge us all one day. Like, what?
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say it like that, but because we
It's
actually,
what he is. It's what it
it's
is.
it's historically, ancient teachings that actually
I know.
all
We should
these
probably all get away from this as fast as we can.
my brother, man. Look, I've asked this other guy too the same question. Look, I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna say, dude, what is it of one person having to believe in the truth that harms anything that has to do with this world, man?
Because it's not truth, and they're voting based on bogus myths from the Bronze Age in the modern
But
day, trying to
but
force my
besides,
children to look at 10 Commandments from this Bronze Age myth on their school wall every single day.
dude, are you not following the news, man, with the Sharia law and all that going on that they're trying to come and embark and actually fit that into
I
the
don't
whole
even
world?
know what Sharia law is supposed to be. What I do
Yeah,
know is
man.
that we have this actual constitution in the United States that separates church and states. And in the state I live in, the Republicans, MAGA here, don't give a flying fuck about the Constitution. They mandated that the 10 Commandments be plastered on a fucking wall in every classroom in this state, in every
I mean,
school in this state.
I'm not disregarding that, man. But we already know that, man. The corruption stays with inside,
The
and they
corruption's coming from the
play.
Christians. Sharia law is not even a
Nah,
thing.
man.
It's the same thing as Mosaic law. It's literally the same thing.
I think on my personal take, man. I think Christian, the belief was being misused, man. It was being misused because you know what? It was just a strategic another reason why you can able to actually embark on your journey of colonizing and using, what I'm saying, Jesus to your advantage, man.
Yeah, I agree.
But
Why would you
man,
join
the
this
faith.
religion?
No. Other than that, the faith is actually a true faith. But the men
It's
that
not a
actually
true faith. You're serving a baby
absolutely
murderer
is,
who
man.
justified
Nah,
conquest and
man.
theft. Like,
That's
this is
not.
crazy, man.
That doesn't fit in my paradigm, man.
It's
It
what you
doesn't
just
fit.
said. You said
Nah,
people used this Bronze Age text to
not me.
justify taking over the world in colonialization. This is the text that, coincidentally, you're
No.
reading right now.
What I'm saying is a lot of the corruption around the gospel while it was being teach and being taught, a lot of the corruption was around it. So of course, you know what I'm saying, the corruption is gonna know
What
exactly
corruption
what
are
they're
you
doing.
talking about?
I'm talking about the Bronze Age, the people that were involved in establishing such civilization, how, I'm saying, everything that they had, and you know what I'm saying, and how they turn around and what while they were going about it, they clearly they never wanted, what I'm saying, the history of the gospel to be involved. But of course, God is outside time, space, and matter. So you're like in a simulation, my guy. Like you're literally in a simulation where you're asking yourself, damn, like I don't have, I'm not really quite clear in understanding where I'm going to go if I die. You know what I'm saying? Like where the hell am I going to go after I'm done? Like I'm enjoying my life. You know what I'm saying? I'm very fortunate, you know what I'm saying, to have all these things in my life. And you're going to come down and one day you're going to die and you don't know where you're at.
All right. Well, thanks for coming up, Soul Pack. Those were certainly words. Anyway, at least it was cool. Shit. Oh. Oh, yeah. All right. All right. Moving on. All right. Here's the third one. All right. Let's try this one now for a little while. Alrighty. It's been a day so far. Been a day. You never know what you're gonna get out here in the TikToks. You never know what you're gonna get, do you? Anyway, if there are any Christians out there who want to debate a real live atheist on one of these here fun topics, then come on up. We're doing multi-topic now. We'll try this one here. This is kind of what I started my channel on. Just 3 options here. That's kind of neat. Where are we at here? 55. The algorithm's still really slow today. Anyway, yeah. Let's see here. Papa Todd. Let's bring up Papa Todd.
Hey, real quick, I just wanted to say I appreciate your channel. I've been watching you for a minute and appreciate everything that you've been presenting.
Well, you're welcome, buddy. I appreciate you for saying so.
I'm new at the deconstructing, about 2 to 3 months now, my wife and I, and it's a freedom I've never felt before, and such a more happiness, and just the truth is really, it hit me in the head so hard, and it's a wonderful experience.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's a little tough out there sometimes, but it is nice to truly have a free mind and not be enslaved to an ideal. It's quite nice, yes. Liberating, to say the least.
So anyway, I just wanted to say that. I know you want to get back to, you know, what your show is all about, but I just wanted to let you know I've been watching you for a minute, and just keep doing what you're doing. Keep rocking your roll.
I appreciate it, man. Hell yeah. Will do, buddy. Will do. And I appreciate you saying so. Keep up your atheisms there, Papa Todd, you and your wife. Keep up the atheisms. Freedom! That's right. All right. Let's see. Said, I've never felt such freedom. And Christianity! That's right. Shots fired. Because Christianity is all about slavery. Let's see. All right. So, usually takes like 2 minutes for the acclimation of a new background if you switch here. So, anyway, we'll give it just a second. We're almost at an hour, so that's cool. It is liberating. It really is. It's nice not to be a slave. Especially a fucking mental prison. Like, that's the worst kind, is it not? I mean, enslaving somebody's body is one thing, but enslaving their minds is on another fucking level of torture, cruelty. Can't be dealt with. Anyway, if there's any Christians out there and you want to debate a real live atheist on one of these topics, come on up. You can pick. For my understanding, can't believe in God if you're not Christian. You can believe in some God. Maybe you can be Jewish or Muslim, I guess. You don't have to believe in Jesus. God logic can come anytime he wants. God don't have fucking logic. He'll get fucking blasted. That's hilarious. God logic. What does that mean? Is that like a God math? Like where 1 + 1 + 1 equals 1? Where 1 equals 1,000. Christian math there. God math. Same as God logic. God logic. A virgin had a baby. Oh, that's fucking funny. God logic. It's like when people say I need to debate the angels. Damn. You will go to your knees, sir, and confess you will not be laughing. That's a bunch of nonsense. I'm sure that makes you feel better, though. One day these atheists are going to bow down to Jesus when they're dead. That's some God logic right there. Your life begins when you're fucking dead. Oh, man, it gets bad out here. It really does. It gets bad out here. It really does, man. Wow. God logic. How about that? Damn. Yeah, I don't argue there is no God. In fact, I've never once debated on this channel if God exists or not. Might have came up in passing here and there, but not as a topic. I go with the position that if God is real, he's a gigantic piece of shit that no one should ever even consider worshiping, not for a fucking second. But here we are. Here we are. Dude's coming up here and telling us they're just fine with chattel slavery. Like, what's wrong with that? God says it's okay, it's fine, right? You sure will, sir. Can't wait to see you on your... I bet you'd love to see me on my knees, wouldn't you? Yeah, we get it. Imagine being so goddamn narcissistic that you want to see everybody bow down to you. Like, what a fucking piece of shit. What a giant piece of shit. You gotta be... that's just sad. Idiots with crowns. It's fucking wild. Socialists keep crying. No. Anyway. Hide my face. What the fuck are you talking about? Anyway, if there's any Christians out there who are actually willing to debate a real live atheist out here, then come on up. I'm fully aware that most Christians are perfectly willing to go bury their head in the sand or hide behind a big rock or something when it comes time to come out of the comments, but there are a few out there who's actually willing to come up and, you know, put their money where their mouth actually is. But, you know, that's what we're dealing with. I think you know where I appreciate it. Let's see where we're at here. 3 or 4 more minutes. We'll leave this background up, and if not, I might take a restroom break. Run and have a little tinkle, and then we'll come back and do a reset. So we'll go with a normal background there. So we'll go with a normal one. Somebody here. Let's see. Oh, you there?
Hey,
Hey, what's up, man? Are you one of the Christians?
yeah.
Cool, man. So which one of the topics you want to talk about there?
If God is unjust,
Yeah, that's a good one. So I say God is unjust because he punishes innocent people for things they didn't do and passes laws where the crimes don't fit the punishments. Those are injustice.
is there a criteria you're using to say what's just and unjust?
Yeah, punishing innocent people for things they didn't do. Justice is about getting what you deserve for something you did, like an eye for an eye. You take an eye, you lose the eye.
Getting what
Not
you
you take an
deserve
eye and a
for.
bunch of other people lose their eyes that had nothing to do with it. That would be injustice, right?
So who decide who deserves what?
You just use your own judgment, knowing what justice is, and then see if God holds up to it.
All right, so all you're saying is that God is unjust according to like your own criteria.
Do you have a standard of justice?
Yeah, I would use the scripture and God himself.
Okay, that's fine. Let's do that. So God himself says it's unjust to punish the son for the sin of the father, right? He says you're never supposed to do that. He hates it.
Does he say that? You should show me that. I don't know if he says it's
All
unjust.
right. Okay. Ezekiel chapter 18, verse 19. Yet you say, why would not the son suffer for the iniquity of the father when the son has done what is lawful and right and has been careful to observe all my statutes? He shall surely live. The person who sins shall die. A child shall not suffer for the iniquity of the parent, nor a parent suffer for the iniquity of the child. The righteousness of the righteous shall be their own, and the wickedness of the wicked shall be their own. That's what God says.
I missed the part where he said it's unjust.
Did you?
I heard him. I heard him
Wow.
say he won't. I heard him say he
All right.
won't.
Well, I'll
do
tell
it.
you. Did God just say What did God say here? What was your
It
opinion?
sounded
What
like
do you
it
think?
said that he
What do you
won't
think I just
punish.
read to you?
It sounded like he said he won't punish the sons for the crimes of their fathers.
Okay, so he's saying this is sin, right?
To punish the son for the crimes of their fathers?
Yeah.
No, he's not. I don't think that's what he said.
Oh, well, what do you think he's saying here? What do you
What I
think
what
I
I just
just read to you? What was the
what I
meaning of it?
what I just said to you, that he won't punish the sons for the crimes of their fathers.
What would be the result of that if he did that then?
I don't think there's a possible world where he does. He says he wouldn't.
Oh, well, he definitely does that, and he does it a lot. So he does do it. So he's unjust by his own standards.
He punishes a child for the crimes of their father?
A lot.
Okay, let's see.
All right. What happened to David and Bathsheba's infant son?
Is David prior to Ezekiel?
What difference does that make?
Because if he gave a statute to Ezekiel after
So if he
David,
did it before Ezekiel, it was
you asked
just.
you asked me a
That's
question. You
your
gotta let
that's your
me,
argument now?
if you're gonna ask me a question, you gotta let me answer it.
All right, go ahead.
If he gave a statute to Ezekiel and that comes after David, then I wouldn't expect him to have that same statute for people before, right? Like if you like the law that's given to the Gentiles in the New Testament isn't given to the Israelites or any Gentiles in the Old Testament. It's a new law.
Oh, okay. So it was if he all the babies he killed before Ezekiel was done justly, and then he changed his mind and says, "I don't do this anymore," and now it's unjust.
No, I'm saying if the statute of not punishing the son for the crimes of the father was given to Ezekiel, and it wasn't given to David, then it wouldn't be him violating his own statute. But it sounds like you have a computer in front of you. I
Yeah.
actually think that the statute that we're talking about he gave to Ezekiel was also given in Genesis. If you could look that up, because then the point that I
Oh, it
made
was
to you wouldn't
Genesis
matter.
before David?
Genesis is the first book of the Bible.
Oh, then it was before David, wasn't it?
Well, that's why I'm saying if you could look it up and see, because I'm not sure, honestly.
Oh,
See if
well,
it's
if you don't
actually.
know, why are you using it as an argument?
Well, it would actually be an argument against me because it would mean
Okay,
that
would it be just or unjust to punish innocent children? Let's just ask point blank. Do you
you
have any
see,
sort of standard of your own?
of my own, no.
Okay, then what are you even doing here?
Well, the standard I use comes from the scripture and God.
Well, I gave you God's standard, and you said that don't count.
Well, I think you're disregarding the entire conversation. I didn't say it doesn't count. I
You
said
did say it doesn't count. You asked me if that was before Ezekiel, and proceeded to say it didn't count if it was before then because David
well,
was before. Is that not what you said?
if it's before Ezekiel, how are we expecting a statute to be applied to somebody before it's given to them?
So David was under no sort of command at all. What kind of laws do you think David was under?
I don't think he followed the same law that was specifically given to Ezekiel.
Okay, well, where's the laws that he followed?
In the Ten Commandments and
Ten
Leviticus,
Commandments.
there could be certain statutes that was given to David himself or his father. Anywhere in Samuel, we could see.
So you have no idea, as a grown man, if punishing innocent children for something they didn't do is just or not.
Well, remember, we're not just talking about like today, right? Like if you were to punish
I'm
your
just
child,
asking you.
well, you got to let me answer your question, right?
Well,
Because obviously we're talking
actually
about.
answer the
Okay.
question though. That would be great.
Well, I mean, if I'm answering it, you got to let me finish. It's not a conversation if you're interrupting me. If we're talking about today, obviously, like I wouldn't punish my daughter for nothing, like for no reason. But that's not what we're talking
Right,
about.
because that would be unjust, wouldn't it?
That would be unjust, yeah.
All right. So when God does that, how in the world is that actually justice?
No, here's the point though. When we talk about just, we're trying to apply a criteria to what's just and what's unjust. And
Yeah, but you
after
don't
we
have
apply
one.
after we apply that criteria, I can have one personally, like for my
You
day-to-day
don't have
life.
one.
If I keep getting interrupted, we can't continue this conversation. I don't know
Well,
what
you
you
don't have one. You're saying wrong things, and then I'm
But you're
jumping
not-
in to
you
correct
don't
you
know-
because
you
you're
don't know
now
what I'm saying.
contradicting yourself. I do know
You
what
don't-
you're saying.
Can you
Pretty clear
repeat?
at this point that you don't have a standard. You said you don't have one
I don't
That's
have a
why I
standard.
jumped in.
I don't have a standard for what?
for justice
In regards to what?
to God.
No, that's not what I said. So please let me continue.
Okay. All right. Well, then correct yourself because that is what you said earlier.
Well,
I asked you point
that's
blank. I
actually
said,
not
do
what I
you have
said.
a standard of justice you'll hold God to? And you said no.
A
So
standard.
do you want to
you
change
said-
your answer now?
What you just said was a standard of justice according to God. That's incoherent. How can you have justice according to God? right? So just let me finish speaking. So
God
we
gives
can,
you his own standards of justice. That's how.
you got to let me finish speaking. Obviously, you don't know what I'm saying, so, you know.
I do know what you're saying. You're contradicting yourself constantly.
Okay, right. So like I was saying, when it comes to like, let's say my daughter, right? If I had a child, I could apply my own level of justice that I see fit according to my society, right? The morals that we all collectively agree on today. But when we talk about being just, we expect something to occur after this justice, right? So if you do something unjust to your child, you would expect some sort of condemnation or punishment to come after doing so. Harming children comes with legal consequences or social consequences, right? That's what we would expect. But there's no way God can do anything unjust. One, because there can't be any consequences put onto God for anything he does. So it's illogical to even conclude that God could be unjust.
There is a consequence, coincidentally.
What would that be?
That would be that I call him out for his bullshit and don't worship him.
That's a consequence.
Yeah.
I don't think
Did God create us to worship him?
for the purpose of worshiping him. I don't know how.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's
Well, I
true.
mean, Christians always say he gave us a choice to worship him or not. If he wants us to worship him and he does bullshit that leads us to not do that, then that is the consequence.
Well, you said if he created us to worship him, and then you said we have the choice to worship him. I don't know which one you want to state as true. Those
We
are two
have the
different
choice to
things.
worship him. That's what I said.
Okay, so we weren't created to worship him then. We have a choice.
All right. I think we're going to move on.
Love you
It's
too. Man.
contradictions. Okay. Anyway. Maybe we can get somebody up here who's capable of a coherent thought. That would be great. Anyway, let's get to this one. I don't know what fucking... What in the world? How are you going to say that you don't? I asked you straight up, do you have a standard of justice on God to? No. And then you proceeded to say yes, and then also explained how you don't. This is the mind of the believers. Utterly fucking confusing, man. Like, anyway. There was no point in hanging in there. He had no logic at all. Like, you can, if you're gonna get sidetracked on fucking the dumb bullshit we ended up on there, what's the point in even continuing the conversation? I don't see one myself. Anyway, all right. Let's just go back to Old Faithful here. They always say God is just, but they never have an actual standard to even hold God to. They just use that circular argument. God's just because God's just, and that's God being just. So, yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah, what's good?
What is that? Hey, what's up, man? Are you a Christian?
Yeah.
Cool. So what you want to talk about on the topic here?
Yeah, I don't believe God and Jesus are evil.
Okay.
Yeah, so this would be simple as that. I'll disagree with the prompt.
No, well, I'll just say they're evil because they like kill children and have women raped and stuff.
I don't think
Pretty
the
evil.
intention. Yeah, I would disagree. I don't believe they do that.
Really?
Yeah.
You've read the Bible, haven't you?
Yep.
Do you know what happened to David and Bathsheba's infant son?
Yeah, he passed away
Why did it pass away?
because of David's sins.
Who decided that the child needed to pass away?
Well, obviously God decided that.
Well, obviously.
But it
God
wasn't
killed the
'cause of-
baby, didn't he?
Yeah, it was because of David's actions.
I know. And I'm saying God is evil for killing a baby because of what David did.
But the baby didn't suffer. Anyway.
It did suffer for a week. He struck it ill, and then it's ill for a week, and then it does.
Not necessarily. Not all in the illnesses you necessarily have to suffer.
Oh, is there any illnesses you know of that are pleasant experiences?
Not necessarily a pleasant experience, but it could be a neutral experience.
Okay. Well, I think I'm within my rights to say if the child is stricken critically ill, then it's probably suffering.
But even then, granted you that, it would still go to heaven instead of going to hell. So
Doesn't matter. He's still killing the baby, and I think that's evil.
but an infinite amount of let's just say pleasure experience, would it be justified for temporary harm? So if like you have 5 seconds of harm but infinite amount of, like, I guess, good experience, wouldn't the good experience be justified? I mean, would the
I
harm
don't
be
see that
justified?
part.
How would the harm not be justified for greater good?
Because the greater good's not in the story. It just says he
That
killed
has
the baby
nothing to do with
and
what
had
I
10 women
asked.
raped.
I
Do it.
didn't, no, did he have anybody raped, dude? What are you talking about?
Talking about 10 of David's wives' concubine got raped.
That was the actions of other people, not God.
It was literally on God's order.
No, they were going to do that regardless.
No, they weren't. God
How do you
said he
know
was
that?
going to make it happen because God says he was going to make it happen.
But that's their actions. It's their personal actions.
It's God saying he is going to make it happen.
He's just
So, I
stating
mean,
what's happening.
he says, I will make this happen.
Yeah,
He's literally
he's
saying,
stating
I'm
that-
going to do it.
So he was
I
the
know
one who
what he's
done it
saying.
personally. So he's the one who personally done it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that don't even make sense. So who done it? Did God do it, or I guess 10 people did it?
You talking about the actual raping?
Yeah.
That was Absalom.
So it wasn't God, exactly. What are you talking about?
No, God is the one who made the situation happen, just like God
How
said,
did
I'm
so?
going to cause
What
this
was the
thing to
method he?
happen.
Yeah, what was the method he used to make it happen?
Magic, I guess. I don't know. How does God control people? I'm
Yeah,
sure.
because he didn't make it happen. They chose. to do
Okay,
it.
so you're just proclaiming that? Show us in the scripture where it says these women decided to do this.
I didn't say the women decided. What are you
Which
talking
verse
about?
is
Now you're
that
strawmanning.
in? What?
No, now you're strawmanning because I never said the women decided made it happen.
Yes, you did. You
Rape
said they
did.
decided to do this on. That's exactly what you said. Everybody
No,
here
the
heard you.
people
There's over
raping
100 people
decided
here.
to do it. Genius.
Oh, so did the women decide to get raped?
When did I say the women decided that? What are you talking? Then it wouldn't be rape.
You
Genius.
said they didn't,
What
right?
What are we talking about now?
That's a good
If
question.
the
I
women
don't know what you're
consented
talking
to it,
about.
of course it's not like what.
Why won't you acknowledge that God said, I'm going to cause this to happen?
So there's a difference between him actually doing the action than causing it.
What's the difference? He caused it to happen. I never said he did the action. I said he caused it to happen. He had 10 of these women raped.
No, I don't think necessarily. Yeah, I don't think he's necessarily doing the action. I think there's a difference.
Oh,
Rather,
well, you're just calling him
something
a liar
leads to
then.
something. It's more of a domino effect rather than like a direct.
So you just
cause.
think God's a liar. Great argument.
How would he be a liar when he literally?
Because the
I'm agreeing.
scripture says, I will do this. God says, I am making this happen, just to have you come up here and say,
But
no,
the
God's
difference
not making
between
it
is
happen. So
yeah,
you're
there's a
calling him a
direct-
liar.
yeah, one would be a direct cause versus an indirect cause. I don't think he's direct.
This is direct. He directly caused it.
Then he would be personally doing the action, which that's not proven by scripture.
I don't know what you don't understand about God making
Yeah,
something
so
happen.
show me how
it's
he's
still his
personally
fault.
doing the
Like you're
action.
trying to you're blaming the hitman and not the one who hired him. Why would you exonerate the one who hired the hitman?
Not necessarily. It could be something where you
So does the one who hired the hitman have responsibility?
that would still be a bit more direct then.
Oh, well, it is direct then. So this is what God did. He hired Absalom.
Because I don't think it's necessarily. It don't have to necessarily
metaphorically
be God's,
to rape the 10 concubines.
Yeah, no, that wouldn't be true.
It is true.
Well, you'd have to demonstrate that within the scripture.
Well, it's in the fucking story. Like, just go
show me.
read it.
Yeah, show me.
Go read it and then come back.
I know the story, and you're just lying.
Okay, so you know that God says, I will make this happen, right?
That's not what we're arguing.
What
I'm
the
arguing
fuck
that-
are you talking about?
No, what are you talking about?
I'm talking about what the story actually says, and you're telling me it's not what it says. So
Yeah,
you're
because
telling me
you're
you know
obviously
the story, but you
you're
seem completely
misrepresenting.
oblivious to what's going on here. I don't
Yeah,
understand.
you're misrepresenting the story, genius.
Okay, so does God say, I will take your wives and give them to your neighbor or not?
Yeah, first of all, that's
Okay,
That's
so
not
that's
what we're
God
even
saying,
debating.
I will
Dude.
make this happen, isn't it?
stop rambling. Let's lock in.
This is my life. I'll ramble all I want. Now continue with whatever nonsense you were about to say, because I don't even know what
Yeah.
you're talking about. You're clearly not addressing what's actually happened in the story here. So
Yeah, so first of all, the point I was trying to make was that there's difference between direct causes and indirect causes. Like for an example, I can hit a domino and like 20 dominoes I guess knocked down. And then the last domino, would be the direct cause. You get what I'm saying? So God indirectly caused it because these I guess his wife not his wives weren't being punished, but he was being punished. These people out of their own will chooses to assault these women. It's not God assaulting these women. That's the point I was trying
okay,
to make.
show us that. Well, wait.
You couldn't even show the verse, dude. So why should I show that?
Okay, we'll get the fuck out of
Exactly.
here.
You can't even show the verse.
Exactly. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Like, what the fuck? What a lied motherfucker. Like, what the fuck? What was that even supposed to be? Like, unfucking real. Like, you couldn't show the verse. You told me you read it, you dumb motherfucker. Wow. Man, some of these people are on like their own fucking universe of a level of whatever the fuck that was. Like, I don't even know. Huh? Wow. Oh, I think that dude got lost in his own bullshit, and now he's swimming in an ocean of turds. God. My goodness. That was a experience there. Yeah, there was no point there, Dr. Jones, that's for sure. There was no point. That motherfucker was on his own shit there. You could show me the verse. What? You acknowledge what I said it said. You said it says what it says, and then proceeded to say I couldn't show you. Like, wow, some people are, wow, that's a different level there. It's a whole nother universe of the dissonance, I think. Anyway, well, if there are any Christians out there, preferably like intellectually honest ones who are willing to actually acknowledge the text here, that would be great. You know, I won't hold out hope, but anyway, if there's any Christians out there and you want to discuss the topic, then come on up. Scorched Earth. Scorched Earth, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Good morning.
Morning, man. Are you a Christian?
Well, I mean, I grew up Christian. I'm more of a accumulation of a lot of things now. But this is an interesting topic, and I did want to discuss with you a little bit. First,
Well,
can I
we're
ask
just looking for debate. We're just looking for debates with Christians.
I'm happy to debate. I can take a debate on any side. So, with this,
Yeah, but
God
you're not a
accuses are
Christian.
evil.
Yeah, but you're not a Christian.
No, I'm not religious Christian. Do I have an understanding?
Exactly.
Of
We're just looking to debate with Christians.
All right, man. So you don't actually want a good debate. You just want to debate with
I
somebody.
want to debate with Christians. Yes. It's like, I don't know if some people's just hard to hear it or what, but Christians, we debate Christians. Damn. Come on, man. I don't do this shit for fun. There's actual gold out here. Gold. Actual gold out here. Anyway, if there are any Christians out there who are capable of a conversation like an adult, then come on up. Oops. Somebody requested up. And right when I touched it, it went away and changed me to somebody else. I don't know if that's... I wonder why the algorithm's so slow today. That's because it's the start of the week. Yeah, sure. Anyway, where are we at here? Let's see. We'll give it a... I guess we'll just restart the clock there. Again, nobody wants you to hear you debate on Christians' behalf. That's silly as fuck. Not interested. What the fuck? Anyway, if there's any actual Christians out there, then you can debate a real live atheist up here today. Come on up if you're out there. I don't know if we'll get anybody or not, to be honest with you. The algorithm's barely moving. But sometimes that don't seem to matter. Anywho. Oh, alright. Last call before we pop a little reset there and keep her going, I guess. If you are a actual Christian and you want to debate a real live atheist about whether Jesus is evil and God is evil, that would be cool. That would be cool. Oh, got a message there. Sorry, I was reading the message. So I kind of need to run to the restroom. Maybe I should just do a reset. Let's see. Anyway, last call. If there's any Christians out there that want to come up and debate the topic here, then come on up. Otherwise, I'm going to try a reset in just a second. Try to run to the bathroom. All right. All right, let's see. What we got somewhere here. Rostodon, you there? Rostodon?
Hello there.
Hey, what's up, man? Are you a Christian?
Rastodon, yep.
Cool.
How you doing, brother? You okay?
Yeah, I hope you are too. What you want to talk about on the topic here?
Yeah. I was just having a look through there and having a little look at your prompt there. I'd love to have a discussion if we could possibly keep it truthful, respectful, in the pursuit of a higher truth. You know, whether it be mine or yours. But
sure.
I would like to engage and conversate if you're willing.
Sure. What you want to talk about on the?
So your prompt says God and Jesus is evil.
Yeah.
Your prompt, brother. Your prompt. For sure. So your prompt is God and Jesus are evil. Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you elaborate on why you would say such a thing?
So they're evil because they're pro-slavery and they kill innocent children and have innocent women raped. That's pretty damned evil to me. Don't you agree?
In which way?
That rape and child murder is evil.
I mean,
your teacup to muted for some reason, guest. If you didn't know, can't hear you. Rasta, your teacup's there.
Yep. Is that any better?
Yeah, that's a little better. Wow, we didn't hear anything you said though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was linking up to my Wi-Fi, brother.
That's all right.
So your prompt is Jesus and God are evil, and you're saying the bad things that happen then God must be evil.
Yeah, when God murders innocent children and has innocent women raped and says you can own slaves, I think that's evil.
Well, I would say that God doesn't do that. Mankind does that thing.
No, I'm talking about God. Him
Mankind
literally
rapes.
doing it.
God raping somebody.
Yeah.
Ah,
He
so
orders rape
you're
constantly.
suggesting like the. How do you mean?
God says,
In which?
I will make this rape
Yeah.
happen. So he's making rapes happen.
He said, "I will make this rape happen."
Yeah. He commands people to go rape
When?
people. He magically does it in some cases. Yeah.
How do you mean that? Because I don't know anywhere in Scripture that says where God says to go rape anybody.
It says it in Zechariah 14, Hosea 13, Isaiah 13, 2 Samuel 12. There's a bunch of places. Have you read the Bible?
And it says what? Is that not a mistranslation or a misinterpretation? You're actually saying that in
we
these
can read it
verses
and you can
God
tell
says to
me.
go and rape.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I'd appreciate that.
All right. 1 second. All right, in Isaiah 13 and verse 3, he says, I myself have commanded my consecrated ones. I have summoned my proudly exulting ones to execute my anger. And then if you scroll down, one of the things that's being executed here is their infants will be dashed to pieces before their eyes, their houses will be plundered, and their wives raped. See, I am stirring up the Medes against them, who have no regard for silver and do not delight in gold. So God's using the Medes to rape the Babylonian women and bash the baby's brains out.
Yep. Well, there's no disputing that God has got a very bad temper. I totally agree with you.
Yeah,
Now,
so when he has babies' brains bashed out and women raped because he's throwing a temper tantrum, that's pretty damn evil, isn't it?
well, it would be if you're considering it from a human perspective as a God throwing a temper tantrum. I mean, I think it's a little
Did you just
bit.
say a human perspective?
Yeah, you're saying you're suggesting God throwing a tantrum. So that's a human thought. You know, God doesn't
Yeah,
throw
I mean, that
tantrums.
seems to be stating something extremely obvious. Like, what besides a human opinion would I have as a human? I don't understand that sentence.
Well, you nothing at all. You would have exactly that kind of perspective, but how is it that then you decide that God is evil, but you have no idea how God thinks or how God acts? You're putting a human perspective onto
It's
God.
literally telling you in this book that God wrote how he's thinking and acting. It says he's really, really mad. So he has babies' brains bashed out and women raped. And yeah, with my human perspective, whatever that means, this seems obscenely the highest caliber of evil. How else should I
Yeah,
look at it?
in the same
Like, what do you even mean by that?
in the same
What's the good way to spin this?
well, no, for a start, your question is, what do I mean by that? And then how do I spin it? So you're assuming higher authority on this conversation, but you haven't got higher authority on this conversation. We're both equal. I suggested it at the beginning.
I'm just trying to
So,
understand
I
it
mean,
with
that
my
would-
human perspective, because to me, this is obscenely evil.
Okay, well, what would you say when
But you don't think it is,
Jesus
though?
says to- do I judge God? No, I absolutely do not judge God. Is there a
So
reason
you don't
for it?
think
If there
that when
was-
God orders that women be raped and babies have their brains bashed out because he's mad, you don't think that's evil, just to be clear.
Well, for a start, you're assuming that God does that because he's mad. No, he has a
That's
plan.
literally what it says.
he
This
want
is the
these
day of the
people-
Lord's anger.
Yeah. And in his anger, he's not a baby tantrum. Yeah, that's anger.
If he's
that's,
angry, he's
and
mad,
we've
correct?
got to take into consideration.
Well, he's angry, right?
No.
He's mad.
No. You're mixing two You're mixing God, righteousness, anger, and human anger. There's two. You know,
I have
there's
no
righteous
idea what
anger.
you say
Now,
when I'm
if
mixing
people are
up righteous, godly anger. I have no idea what that means. What I am reading is a page that says God is mad and he commands Medes to execute his anger by bashing babies' brains out and raping women. And you don't think that this is evil somehow?
Okay then. So in that scripture, he's commanding you. No, he isn't. This is a long time ago. Actually, what he does command you to do is worship nobody but God and love everybody else as you would love your brother and sister. So them's your commandments.
Neighbor,
what you're
not
quoting,
everybody.
you know, it says even love your enemies, pray for them. Yeah,
That's what Jesus says. God doesn't.
it says everything. It love everybody.
God,
No,
Jesus also
says that,
says to
Jesus is God.
execute your enemies. So I'm not sure where love comes into there. But
No,
anyway,
Jesus
so,
doesn't
okay.
say
So this says, I myself have commanded this because I'm angry, and you're telling me that God's not commanding this because He's angry.
No, it doesn't say. No, that's an abbreviation. You're mixing words. You're not just mixing them. You're taking them out and you're adding your own in. And your interpretation
Okay, wait a
is
minute.
way
What
off.
words am I adding to this? Because I am reading the words off the page to you, and you're telling me I'm adding to it and taking it out of context just because I read it.
Yeah, bash people's heads against the wall and rape women because I'm angry. That is not what it says. And if you read the old
well, what
scripture
does
in
it say?
context,
Because I
these
read
were
it to you where it does say that.
and the whole paragraph and the whole chapter is about the Babylonians who turned from God, and they begun a different journey. Now God says, okay, I'm going to choose that. Yeah, and if God says, if you're going to choose that journey, there's a consequence for that action. Yeah. Now it's okay for the, let's say the American army, the British army, any army, go in there and kill all these people. Oh yeah, people do this. But then you question God taking out all the...
That is against the law here. You can't just go killing civilians willy-nilly, and you certainly can't bash babies' brains out and rape women. You would be tried as a criminal for that.
Yeah, I know, and it still goes on, doesn't it, brother? If we're going to deny that, are we going to bury his head in sand and say that soldiers don't go out and do these heinous acts?
Okay, well, let's not deny the words on the page here, because I read to you where it says God commanded this because He's angry. So tell me how I was wrong about that.
Okay, then. So then we've got two types of anger. We've got righteous anger and we've got anger. Now, God's anger is always righteous. And the reason that we know this is because
okay,
when
so
Cain kills...
how am I wrong because this is righteous anger?
Okay, then. Imagine this. In the beginning, yeah, He gives us life. He sets us on a journey that He knows we're going to fail at the first step. He knows we're going to be curious and eat from the tree. But you cannot make free will, you cannot make children of God with free will without them breaking the rules. So then the law came through Moses. Now imagine this, you and I,
we're talking about
you and I both
13.
agree that what he's suggesting there in the book, yeah, I know we are.
You told me I was wrong about what this said when I just read it.
How am I wrong in this?
So apparently I read it wrong.
Okay then, so I'll prove it to you. Why doesn't God kill Cain?
What?
What's the law of God? An eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth?
Yeah.
Is that the law of God? An eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth?
That's what He says. It's not what He does.
Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. No.
What does that have to do with Isaiah 13?
It most definitely is what He does, but you just can't see it. So,
okay. What?
If you want to hold on to a text,
is this one of those things where I'm using my human perspective?
We'll read the whole paragraph and we'll put it in a context. No, you're not looking at the greater picture, because God does not punish Cain, does He? Because there was no law.
Dude, I'm talking about the women and the babies in Babylon. I'm not talking about Cain right now.
I know you're not. What you're trying to do is hold on to a scripture.
And
but
what you're trying to do is shift over to something nobody's talking about.
Righteous. No. What I'm trying to do is prove to you that God's anger is righteous.
Wait a
Yeah.
minute. We
So you're
started
saying
this
how is it
by me
righteous?
saying
Well,
he
you
murders
as
babies
a
and rapes children. You said he don't do that. Yeah, I need to show you that. Then I showed you
no,
that,
no,
and
he
then
did.
you proceeded to tell me,
No,
well, I was using my
he
human
didn't do that at
brain.
all. Man did that.
He did do it. He takes credit for
Are you
this.
trying
He
to put
commanded them
your
to do
human
it.
thought as you've actually asked a question? But
Dude,
tell me how I'm wrong.
I
This
do
is your
not know
question.
what to
Tell
do
me
with a
how I'm
person that
wrong.
keeps telling me I'm
That
using my
this
human
isn't wrong.
thoughts. Like, what other
That's your
fucking
question.
thoughts am I supposed to be using? Do I have an alien conductor out here? Are we supposed to consult the aliens or the deity? Like, what are you even talking about?
Okay, well,
Certainly you don't
let's try
expect
and,
me to
like I
use
said,
anything
let's try
but
and
human
keep it
thought,
civil,
do
because
you?
if you go like that, there's pointless arguing. You don't want to know.
Well, I don't know what you're talking about. You're saying
Yeah,
utter
discernment
nonsense.
for a start. For example, like I tried to
Discernment?
point out. Yeah,
I
so
asked you
when
about
I
a
say to
passage
you,
in Isaiah
right,
13 and you
how do
started
I
talking
prove it?
about
So I go
Cain.
to a scripture.
All right. I don't know what you're talking about, man. You can
Yeah,
have
that's
no idea
because
what's going on.
throughout the Bible, I can go through the whole thing, yeah?
Anyway, I think Longbeard was next here. Longbeard, I don't think you're gonna load in. Your signal's really, really bad. Just request back up if you grab some Wi-Fi and I'll bring you back up, Longbeard. All right, let's see here. Who was next? I think it was YB. We got Jackson Drews next, I think. Why don't you develop some action? Hey, Jax, you there?
Yep.
Hey, what's up, man? Are you one of the Christians?
Yes, I am.
Cool. So what you want to talk about on the topic here?
So I just wanted to read some scripture from what you were referencing. Hold on, let me turn my TV down real quick.
Yeah, please. So what are you going to read us?
So it's an excerpt, it's verses a couple sections down from what you were reading. And it's kind of referencing the justification of what was going on in Babylon at the time. It says how the oppressor has ceased, the insolent fury ceased, the Lord has broken the staff of the wicked. Wait, you want the verse?
No, I don't want the verse. I already know why he's doing this.
Okay, so
what are you saying?
Explanation
of that.
An explanation of why he's doing it?
Out and women raped, yeah. I know why he's doing it.
Okay, so it's justification
the
for the evil practices going on in Babylon?
Yeah, the thing is, these babies didn't practice any of that evil, did they?
No, they didn't, but they're coming from an area where this
God
is a practice
murdering
often
innocent children.
So their fate, these babies, were in a time period where sacrificial things with these babies were going on in Babylon. So would it have been better to have been sacrificed, or in the greater picture, reach God and go to
they
heaven?
Died either way. There's no difference here in your scenarios. They're dead.
Torture or just death?
Not to mention,
no difference.
There's no evidence at all that anybody in Babylon was doing child sacrifice.
Absolutely, there was.
All right, where is it?
You can find it in many places in the Bible. Hold on.
What's better, to have your brains bashed out or be sacrificed? It's kind of the same. That was weird. Yeah. Oh, he left. I would have to. Probably. Anyway, let's see if Drew's still here. Jerry, you there? Oh shit!
Yeah, does it sound clear today? Volume
Not
better?
really.
Let me come up and see it. Better.
Yeah, it's popping a lot.
Any better there?
Oh, that's a lot. That's all right. I heard that pretty clear. Yeah,
So,
go ahead. What you
what
want
would
to
you
talk
like to
about, bro?
start with, bro?
Oh, whatever you
Well,
got
honestly,
in
you
mind.
say that God and Jesus are evil. So, what brings you to that conclusion?
What we was just talking about. They murder innocent children and have women raped, and they're pro-slavery.
Pro-slavery. Let's go to that because that's actually what we were talking about not too long ago, right? That's what we were talking about the last time I was up here with you. Just didn't have the time. I think you said Leviticus 25.
Oh
right?
yeah.
Okay. Let me go to Leviticus 25 real quick. You said it was verse 40 something. Or you said 30, right? 37?
No, 44 through 46 is where it says you can have slaves from the nations around you and from the aliens residing with you and from their families
Okay,
who are
gotcha.
with you.
Gotcha. Alright, actually, let's start in verse 39. If one of your fellow Israelites falls into poverty and is forced to sell himself to you, do not treat him as a slave. Anything for that?
Yeah, that's God saying if a Hebrew Israelite tries to sell themselves to you, you can't make them serve as a slave.
No, he says don't treat him as a slave. But this is all what
It
you're
says
talking
you shall
about.
not
Here is
make
stuff in
them.
the old
It says
law,
you shall not make
which
them
was
serve as slaves. They shall remain with you as hired or bound laborers.
okay. If we're gonna have this conversation, can you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Only read from the King James version of the Bible, because that's the most accurate version of the Bible.
It's not even close to the most accurate version, and it's not even in contemporary English.
No, it's
I
the
will
most
compromise with you and
accurate
read from
version
the
of the Bible.
New King James Version. Does that sound fair? Huh?
Yeah.
I can't hear him at all. I thought I heard the word fine, but we'll see what it was for a sec there. Verse 39. Yeah, it says, and if one of your brethren who dwells by you becomes so poor and sells himself to you, you shall not compel him to serve as a slave. As a hired or bound sojourner, he shall be with you and shall serve you until the year of Jubilee. That's from the New King James. True, shit. I can't hear you at all, man. Like, you're gonna have to get some better Wi-Fi or something, man. I can't. It's been quite a while since I could even hear you. But anyway, I thought I heard him say that, but that's literally all I caught for the last nearly a minute. Oh, YB came back. Here we go. My bad, YB. I
Yo,
didn't see you requested back up.
hold
Sorry,
on.
man.
You can
What
hear
was?
me, right? You can hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you. What was you saying earlier?
All right. In my opinion, look, I think you're a good person. You know, I'm not gonna hate on nobody like other people do. I don't hate nobody, but in my opinion, and you could tell me if I'm wrong. You could tell me if I'm wrong, because I don't know everything. I just converted like a few weeks ago. But
Oh shit.
in my opinion, God and Jesus are not evil, because yes, they did do what you said they did, but us as humans, we don't know the reason for why they did that. And plus, if we want to argue about bad things coming into the world, like people in your comments, you have a good point, but the people in your comments just don't. They're arguing that
Well,
why
don't
does
worry
God
about
and
the comments.
Jesus,
They're all psychopaths, all of them.
why do
So don't
God
worry
and
about it.
Jesus allow bad things to happen? And
But
if you read the Bible, it talks about free will. We have free will to do what we want.
Where
It's not God
does
and
it say
Jesus.
that?
Huh?
Where does it say
In the
that?
beginning of Genesis, actually, it says they gave us humans free will, pretty much, to do whatever we want. God and Jesus are
Does it
not
say
going to
that in
control us.
Genesis?
Pretty much.
It don't. God don't give a shit about free will. He never gave anybody free will. That's crazy. Oh, he teacupped immediately there. Christians often get confused and ultimatum with free will for some reason. Oh, what? It's crazy. I don't know what happened there. Anyway. Good Lord, the signals are really bad out here today. Oh, Drew came back to.
Yo, any better?
That is better.
Okay. What you just said about free will. Do you really believe you don't have free will to be up here on live speaking your truth, what you feel is your truth?
I said there's no free will in the Bible. I said God don't care about free will. He violates people's free will constantly, and he never gave you free will. He gave you a choice. He said you can either love me or burn. That's your choice. You can be a sin slave, or you can be my slave. That's your choices in Christianity.
That's free will. You have the choice.
That's not free will. You should look up
will.
the definition of free. No, it's not. It's the choice. That's not free will. It's coercion. Free will is a choice made free of coercion.
So you don't think that your choice is free today?
No. Because you know why? Because I know the definition of free will.
All right.
You can't have it. Free will is the ability to make a choice free of restraint or coercion. So it's like a mugger putting a pew to your head and saying, "Give me the money or die." Like you do have a choice to make there, but the choice is heavily influenced, isn't it?
Yeah, everything is a choice. No.
Exactly. It's not
You have
free
a
will.
choice.
That's the point. It's a coerced choice. You're thinking under coercion.
So
Free
then you're
will
against the law
is the
too
ability
then,
to
right?
think freely, free of restraint or coercion.
So then you're against the law too, then, right? Like the law in today's world. Like you're against it. How the law says you can't steal, you can't rape, you can't.
Yeah, I'm against all that. I believe in stealing and raping.
Really?
No, not really. What the fuck are you talking about?
That's what I'm saying. You don't see how there's holes in your conversation here?
Do you understand that you are not arguing from what free will actually is? I tried to explain it to you.
That's what, yes. So free will, right? I can't go.
Free will, hold on.
Okay, let me
Free
talk.
will is the ability to make a choice free of restraint or
restraint.
coercion, right?
Yes, I got you.
Okay, so if
Free
your
of
choice
restraint,
is
right?
made with hell or eternal torment at the end of the tunnel, it is not a free will decision.
Okay, let's apply it to today's world then, okay? I
No,
can't go.
we can apply it to what we're talking about, the Bible and God. Jesus and God are evil.
I think you are a good person, like last dude said. Like you're up here trying to find your way. I think you choose to get up here and talk about Jesus and God every day. So I think you're really trying to find it. And I'm trying to help you.
I'm not trying to find Jesus or God. I'm trying to convince people that this is evil and we should abandon this nonsense before it's too late and it causes
For what,
more harm to other people. Huh?
For what? So you think it's not okay
For what?
to rape and steal, but where do you get that from? Where do you get that that's not okay?
Not from the Bible, because it's perfectly fine in the Bible.
Okay, so what makes you think it's not perfectly fine?
You need me to explain to you why rape isn't perfectly fine?
I need your explanation. If it's okay in the
All right,
Bible.
well, you're not even being intellectually honest anymore if you need me to explain to you why fucking rape is bad, Drew.
I've never said it was okay. I'm asking, where did you get that? it's wrong?
If anybody here thinks it's okay, it's you, because you worship a fucking God who orders this stuff on people constantly.
Dude,
not me. That's
why are
you.
so angry is the question.
Because you're pissing me off with that kind of rhetoric. That's why.
Like
I'm
instead of
screaming
having
at
a
you on my
conversation,
phone.
you're screaming at your phone, not at me. I'm
I'm
not
screaming
there.
at you on my phone. I'm
At
not
your
talking to my
screen.
phone. My phone just didn't say a bunch
You
of
are
dumb stuff. You did.
you are talking to your phone.
Okay, so if rape's so bad, then why do you worship a God that orders rape on innocent women?
Where does he order rape? Let me go to it.
Isaiah
I'll open up my
13, Zechariah
Isaiah.
14,
Let's start in
2
Isaiah.
Samuel chapter
Isaiah,
12.
Isaiah 13. Let's start there. Slow down, man.
Yeah.
Isaiah 13. Isaiah, son of Amoz, received this message.
Yeah, hold on. Don't read the whole chapter. Just read verse 16 first.
Well, there's context to it.
I know. We'll get to that in a second. Just read verse 16.
Their little
We don't have to
children
read the
will
whole
be
chapter.
will be dashed to death before their eyes. Their homes will be sacked, and their wives will be raped.
So we're acknowledging now that in this verse here, contextually, some babies are going to have their brains bashed out and some women are going to be raped, right?
That's what it says right there. I guess
It
babies.
is what it says right there. Guess who commands this?
It says their little children will be dashed to death before their eyes.
Their houses will be plundered and their wives raped.
Yeah, so it doesn't say their heads will be bashed in, but I see where you're adding your own stuff. But yeah, it says
Oh,
that.
okay. So I was out of my. Okay, my bad. I didn't mean to change the words out there to babies having their brains bashed out. Let's use the actual words. They will be dashed to pieces.
There you go.
Much better correction there. All right, read verse 17 now.
Look, I will stir up the Medes against Babylon.
Right. Who's I there? Who's stirring them?
I didn't read the context, so I'm assuming it's God.
Yeah, it is God.
Okay.
Good guess.
So that's God being evil, right? In your eyes?
Yeah, that's God commanding babies be dashed to pieces, even though that I'm being dishonest for saying bashing their brains out. And their women are going to have their houses plundered and their wives raped. That's God ordering that.
Yeah. It goes on to say they'll have no mercy on helpless babies.
Yep.
Let me just do some reading on the context here.
So now I've
I
shown
won't
you
read
where
it to you
God
live.
commands
I won't-
women
I
are
won't-
raped.
This is the end of it. We're in verse
That's
16.
the end of it.
There's 22 verses, so there's 6 more verses after this, but there's 15 verses before this that I didn't read. I'm not there yet, so I don't have the context of this.
Well, you can read it now. I just didn't want you to start there. I wanted you to acknowledge that God is ordering rape here.
Okay.
So what context is going to make it okay that God's ordering women be raped here for you? What would this need to say to justify that above in the 15 previous verses?
Nothing makes it okay. Okay?
Something's going to make it okay because you worship this God.
No.
So you
I
have to
just
make
told
it
you right
okay
there.
in some
I
shape
just
or
told
form,
you
or
right
either
there.
just admit you're worshiping a rapist God.
I just told you right there, nothing makes it okay, right? So when you came
Right.
into this world, were you all knowing? Like, when you came out of your mother's womb, did you know that it was okay to not rape?
No.
Okay, thank you. So just as God, right? He had time to
So
grow.
God is what? An infant here?
No, I'm saying God is handling things as time goes on, and this was his idea of the way of handling it. Now, where does that happen in today's world?
Where does that make this God good and not evil?
We give people time to grow. Has somebody done something wrong against you?
Okay, well, what's the difference between this happening 100 years ago and it happening 3,000 years ago?
What do you mean? What?
The only difference is the time. The atrocity stands. God is having babies bashed to pieces and women raped here. You said nothing makes this okay. So what scenario are you not going to tell me that makes this okay and not pure evil?
I just told you, nothing makes it okay. I'm just saying that there
Okay,
is
so
context
then,
to
okay,
what
then
we're
you
reading.
you conceded the point, and you now admit that God is evil for this, right?
I said the way of handling it was evil. God is not evil.
Oh, okay. So if God does an evil handling of something, but he's not evil,
Would you say that you make the right decision 100% of the time? You
no,
personally.
never argued that,
Okay.
never suggested it. It's
Thank
not
you.
even the topic here.
Okay. So that's the point. This is 3,000
The
years
point
ago.
is, God is evil. He's having women raped. You know it's evil, and now you're saying, well, he wasn't evil for doing the evil thing.
I just told you, have you always done everything right?
We are talking about God here, man, not me.
Everything that
God is
does,
supposedly all-knowing and all-love. So what are you going to say? Well, he didn't know any
He
better.
is
It was just a
all-knowing and
mistake he made. Did he have a lapse in judgment?
He's all just. So the reason why he did this to the Babylonians was because
All just.
they were
Did those
committing
words really
evil.
just come out of your mouth?
Yes, they did.
Okay,
I'm
justify the
trying
raping
to
of
have
women
patience.
here and the bashing of babies to pieces.
I'm trying to have patience with you, man.
I'm trying to have patience with you, but you really kind of destroyed that when you asked me to explain to you why rape is bad.
No, I didn't ask you to explain why rape is bad. I said,
Yes, you
where
did.
I said, where did you learn that from?
You told me to explain to you why it was bad and where I learned that.
No, I said, explain to me where you learned it from. How do you know it's bad?
And what did I say? I said, not from the Bible because God's fine with it. And you said, not on. You said, then I need to explain to you why it's actually bad if
I
it
didn't
doesn't come
say
from the
not
Bible.
on. See,
All
bro,
right, whatever.
if you're going to be childish, then we can't have this conversation. There you go, running.
If you're not going to stick on the topic, we're not going to have this
I'm
conversation.
on the topic, but you keep
You're
running.
not
from
on the topic. You keep trying to make it about me and not about God.
Dude, I'm trying to apply God to today's world because you're a non-believer. How do you
I'm
not
not talking about today's world. I'm just talking
you're
about God
saying-
or being evil because he's doing fucking obviously evil stuff that you know is evil, but you will not
3,000
call him
years
evil
ago.
for it, even though you know he's evil. That's the problem
3,000
here.
years ago? Okay, so do you think there should have been no consequences for the dudes who committed 9/11?
Again, can we talk
should have been able
about
to-
God, please?
Okay.
The
Apply
motherfuckers
it
that
to
committed
real life.
9/11 are dead.
And you think that's wrong?
They are dead, sir.
Is it wrong that they are dead?
Oh my God.
You think they should still be living today?
Drew. Oh, Drew. Drew. God damn. Bruh. Drew. What the fuck, man?
Hello?
Hello?
Hello? Okay, why are you being rude to my voice?
Alright, get the fuck out of here. Damn it, how do I never catch him quick enough? Shit. I'm gonna wait for I can catch her there. Oh, there's YB again. Hey, man.
Hey, my bad, yeah. I disconnected. My internet was trash. My bad, yeah.
That's alright.
But what were we arguing about again?
I don't know. Was you telling me?
Because I
I
want to get your point of view. Really, I just want to get your point of view, so I can understand better.
Yeah, I think rape is evil.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so when God orders that women be raped, he is evil for that. That's pretty simple.
Yeah, it is. It is. I can't even lie about that. It is. I'm not going to disagree on you with that.
Well, luckily, you've only invested 2 weeks of your life so far in this craziness, so. So let's get out of that.
Yeah, you got a good point. Yeah, you got a good point.
Yeah, it's never too late. 2 weeks in darkness is plenty. But yeah, man,
Well,
that's all I'm saying. Like, how can you
yeah,
argue that these guys are good and loving and
yeah,
justice when they're having women raped and innocent children murdered and like, what the
yeah,
fuck?
yeah.
How is this any kind of saying?
I don't know, man. But what I do
Right.
disagree with some people on is that we don't have free will, because in my opinion we do. But that doesn't give him the right to order people to get, you know. So yeah, I agree with you
Yeah.
on that. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no justification for this. It's
All
pure
right, man.
evil.
You have a good day.
You too,
Thank
buddy.
you. You have a good day.
No problem, man. No problem. No problem. All right. I'm over 2 hours now. Yeah, we'll give him a W there. We'll give him a W. I mean, 2 weeks. Wish I could say excuse me. Wish I could say I was only in that craziness for 2 weeks. It was longer than that, though. It was more like 2 decades. Yikes. This dude is a clown, and if you support this, you're just a sick. Okay. Hey, fuck your God. We don't need your God's blessing, Drew. We don't consent to your blessings from your rapist God. We'll pass. You do you. You worship this rapist God and call it justice and love all you want, buddy. But don't expect anybody else to think that is anything less than utter fucking insanity, evil cruelty. That's all there is to it. Alright. Let's see. I'm still moving a little bit. Maybe we can still get somebody to come on in. Anyway, if you're a Christian out there, I reckon come on up. The only thing we asked here is you're capable of a conversation like a grown adult. That you can stay on the topic. Oh boy. Anyway. Alright. Shut Drew up there. I don't think anybody is any longer interested in your opinion. Oh my goodness. Anyway, if there's any Christians out there and you want to debate a real live atheist on if God or Jesus are evil, then come on up. I don't know why, but it just dawned in my brain who that Eli guy was from earlier. That Eli, that was the guy that was on fucking Heathen. Damn, that's random in my head. But he was the guy on Heathen Heathen Deconstructions thing where the guy actually come up and he was like, yo, y'all can talk to this dude if you want. But oh man, that makes so much sense now. I just remember who that guy was. It's weird it popped in my brain when it did, but I guess my silly brain that I got in my head takes a while to download information. Like if I start thinking about something, it might take me like 10 minutes to download the information there, I guess. I don't know. Yikes. Anyway. Oh, Fredo was talking to me. He said I'm the worst debater on TikTok. I wasn't sure if he meant me or it was just somebody in the comments who was talking about one of the guests or not, but okay. That's pretty funny. Anyway. Any Christians who want to come debate the topic here with a real live atheist, then come on up. So far, we've had incoherent babble nonsense and illogical nonsense pretty much all day. But we are in the highest of hopes that we'll still get a coherent conversation over here. We have faith and stuff. What the fuck's Drew? Fuck you, man. I already talked to you. And your signal's kind of bad anyway. Yikes. It's Katie. What's up, Katie?
Oh, not much. I was just going to tell you, if you're trying to find a really good conversation, maybe don't talk to Christians. I'm just
That's
teasing you.
strangely good advice.
Yeah, that's it. They'll probably come up here to antagonize
I'm
some
making a memo
Christians.
right now.
Just to antagonize some Christians to maybe come up here and talk and actually like engage with the subject matter and, you know, in good faith.
Yeah. Probably get one of those any minute now, I'm sure.
Any minute. But yeah, that's all I did. Just a little humor for a minute. You can drive me back down.
Gotcha. Thanks, Katie. That was fun.
Uh-huh.
I really actually did write that down. Like, good conversation. That's great. Oh, shit. Hi, Fredo. Fredo, you there? Fredo?
Yep, I'm here.
Fredo, are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Oh, what's up, man? You are a Christian, aren't you?
I am, yeah.
Okay, cool. So what you want to talk about, man?
What's your studies on the Bible, church history, and the church fathers?
What's my study?
Yeah.
I don't know, I just read it.
What, you read the Bible, you read the church fathers, and you read the church history?
I've read some church fathers and church history. I'm just arguing from the Bible.
Which church fathers have you read?
Augustine was one of my. I thought he was one of the most interesting ones.
Yeah, who else?
Clement.
Don't look it up. You read Clement, did you?
Don't look it up.
Yeah.
Okay, so why are we on church father trivia?
No, because I want to know your knowledge.
Oh, okay, well, just assume I don't know anything, and let's talk about whether Jesus and God are evil. My knowledge will be unveiled.
You have to read the Bible, yeah?
Yeah, I've read it. I even learned to read it in biblical Hebrew.
So you've read the Bible,
Mm-hmm.
and where do you get your interpretation from?
I don't have an interpretation. I comprehend the words on the page.
Hang on. Let me just clarify. You don't interpret the Bible. You just read the pages on the words on the book. Is that what you just said?
Reading comprehension. I comprehend what the words on the page are saying to me.
What is comprehension? Isn't it interpretation?
So are we going to talk about Jesus and God, or?
No, I want to know how you're interpreting the Bible. I want to know
I'm
if you
reading the
biblicast
words
the
on
Bible.
the page, and if it says, I myself have commanded this, I'm taking that as God saying, I myself am commanding whatever he's commanding. Stuff
Okay,
like
so
that.
what does the dead bury the dead mean?
That was from where the guy asked Jesus if he could go to his father's funeral, and Jesus said, no, you have to follow me. Let the dead bury the dead.
Yeah, so what does the dead bury the dead mean?
It wasn't
How
the
can a
point.
dead person bury the dead?
They can't.
So what does it mean?
It means Jesus didn't want the guy to go to his own father's funeral. He thought it was more important that he be following him.
So you don't know what the definition of "let the dead bury the dead" means? It means you haven't done.
Why are you
any
disregarding
research
the
at all,
rest of the story for that?
Because you just don't understand anything so far, right?
Okay, so are we going to talk
the
about
next one,
God and Jesus being evil or not? Or
when God said He would harden Pharaoh's heart, what did He mean?
he meant he controlled him. He hardens all kind of people's heart in the Old Testament.
So clearly, again, you don't understand the
It means
scripture again.
the Pharaoh would have done otherwise, but God hardened his heart so he would not do the thing that God didn't want him to do, which was letting
So
the
you're
Israelites go.
interpreting. So you're interpreting without any further research, just what you've
Yeah, that's
just
what
read
it says.
and
Oh,
interpreted.
learned to
You've
read.
interpreted.
I read the Hebrew. I understand it in Hebrew. Do you?
So you're interpreting.
Have you read it in Hebrew?
Based on your
Fredo,
hang on.
Fredo, have you read
So
it in
you-
Hebrew?
so-
Fredo.
Listen for a second.
Fredo,
You're
you listen.
interpreting-
You've been asking me an awful lot of questions, barely of any of which are actually on the topic here. So,
And you haven't answered.
could we
you haven't
engage
answered any of them
honestly here for a
correctly.
moment and get to God and Jesus?
And you haven't answered any of them correctly.
Bruh, get on the topic, Fredo.
I am. I'm asking
You're
you.
not.
You
You're
said
asking me things about
you said
interpretive
yeah.
shit
You
about
said you
Exodus
read.
chapter 4. Like, what the?
You said you've researched the church fathers, right? And the church history.
I said
So
I've
you would
researched some of
understand.
them, yeah.
So you
And
would
then you asked
understand.
me which
So
ones.
if
I named a couple, and then you went on. How many more? Don't look. Don't answer. Like, what the? Get on the topic, dude.
so if you've read them, you would understand what the meanings are. Surely. Surely you'd have to understand what the meanings are if you've read the church fathers and you've read the church history and you understand
I
what the
don't
actual
give a
Bible's saying.
flying fuck about church history. I read the Bible. I care what the Bible says. God tells you a whole bunch of stuff
How
in
do
the
you know
Bible,
what the
and He
Bible?
does a whole
How do
bunch
you
of
know?
stuff in the Bible. I do not need church history for that.
I've just asked you two questions.
And
You don't
crazy
know how to
enough,
answer
I have
them.
my own. I can comprehend what I'm reading. I'm not a genius by any means, but I can read words on a page and convey the information accurately. That's what you do when you learn how to read. You're learning
Yeah.
to take in and comprehend what the words on the page say. So that's
But
what I do.
but you interpret it based on your own position.
Yeah, I
Yeah?
only have my brain, coincidentally. Yeah.
Exactly. And the Bible says do not
Yeah.
lean on your own interpretation.
Yeah, the
Correct?
Bible tells you not to think for yourself.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
So
Yeah.
why are you interpreting the
I'll
Bible
pass
when
on
it says
that.
not
I'll
to
use
lean?
my own understanding, though.
Yeah. Well, that's why you'll be
Yeah.
mistaken every time.
All right. So, do you think Jesus and God are evil?
I just said to you, unless you can actually show me what explanations of the things that I'm asking you, you have no idea how to interpret the Bible.
Okay. Well, if you're not going to address the topic, then drop yourself down and I'll bring up the next person.
No worries. Destroy it
If
again.
I'm wrong about something, you could just correct me. But if you refuse to go there, then we'll never get on the topic anyway, will
I'm
we?
not gonna.
It's
I'm
quite
not
pointless
going to give
because
you.
you won't
I'm not.
actually address anything we're fucking talking about here. So,
I'm not going to make things easy for you. You need to do your
well,
research
you could
before
actually
you
have
get
a
up here.
conversation like an honest person for once in your pathetic fucking life, and
Well, no.
maybe we could actually get there, and somebody could develop a little bit of respect for you. So I'll give you one
Yeah.
more chance. Do you actually want to address the topic and what's on the page, or not?
Okay. You're saying God and Jesus
Yes
are
or
evil. What
no
is
is the
evil?
answer to that.
Yes, I said yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Okay.
Okay, yes.
What
Okay,
you said?
perfect.
God.
So
God is.
let's
You
do
said
that
God.
then. So I say God and Jesus are evil because they kill innocent children, they have women raped, and they are pro-slavery. So tell me
So
if I'm reading that wrong in the Bible, then tell me why.
okay. What is evil?
Evil is profoundly wicked or immoral actions
Based on who?
based on my opinion.
Okay. So what do I care what your opinion?
You don't. Okay. Well, have a good one, Fredo. Clearly, you're not willing to engage, honestly. But I'm the worst debater on TikTok, of course. Anyway. All right. Hey, Nick. Nick?
Hello?
Hey, what's up, man? Are you a Christian?
Yes, sir.
Cool, man. So what you want to talk about on the topic here?
Um, well, I just, so why so you say you're a former Christian? Were you ever a Christian, or you just don't believe God is, or Jesus is good?
Yeah, I'm a former Christian.
So what about them in your life makes you feel like they're not good? That what
I read
update?
the Bible and it says they kill innocent kids and have women raped and they're pro-slavery. So I ran from this religion as fast as I possibly could.
So you're saying that those things happen, but you don't know, like, so like about the children getting mauled by bears. Do you know why that happened? Or you
Yeah,
just
they
read
called the guy bald.
Oh, I think it's more than just that, obviously.
Oh, what does it say?
Well, I kind of just woke up, but I don't really have it off the
Well,
top
do you
of my
want
head.
to have a cup of coffee or something and come back when you're more awake and you'll actually address the words you're saying?
Well, I want to address a few things because I mean, if a God is so evil, but yet, like with the
You don't think
bears,
it's evil to have children mauled by bears because they called the guy bald?
I obviously do think it's evil, but he did it because we made a choice and went against him, and he showed us the punishment of our actions.
Which
Man
was
did
evil,
some,
right?
well, he's a fair and just God. They were doing something just
That's
as
not
evil.
fair. I don't think anybody would argue that was fair.
I mean, if you're just, but if you read the context of why he did it for a specific reason, not because
Because they called him bald.
not because they just called him bald.
Okay, well, what else does it say he did it for?
Again, obviously I can't address that point, but
Well, there's not a point to address. That's all it says.
no, there's a point, but again, I don't.
Okay, what is it?
Well, because man did something wrong, they disobeyed him, and they taught him a lesson because they wouldn't listen, and that's what he
Did
did.
God tell them not to call him Baldy?
Again, it's not because they just called him bald. They did something much worse than that. God doesn't do something.
Okay, what was it that they did that was worse than calling him bald?
Well, that's a great question. I think we can go to the word for that. So let me see here. Well, if I can find that, I kind of don't remember it, but I think if you've read the Bible, you would see though that God consistently and the Son, they hate evil, they hate sin. So if you read that they hate something, how is it that they're evil if they hate the very thing that you're claiming they are?
Because their laws and what sin is itself is evil on their part to even call it a sin to begin with. Because in the
How's
Bible,
our part if we are responsible for sin? If man is responsible for
because
sin?
in the Bible, it's a sin not to kill people in some instances. It's a sin not to stone a disobedient child to death. It's a sin not to set a priest's daughter on fire who has been prostituted herself. It's a sin not to chop the hand off the lady who seized a man's testicles to help her husband out in a fight. Stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
So,
like, if as a Christian you can't say that it's a sin to own a slave and beat them within an inch of their life, then you're in a bad religion, man. And it's not a sin in the Bible. It's perfectly permitted by God. That's what I'm saying. It's not a sin to beat a slave, but it is a sin not to kill a child who spoke evil.
It is a sin, though.
It's not a sin.
It is. That's not.
It's not. It's permitted by God. He says you can do it. If you do something that God says you can do, that's not a sin.
No,
Yeah.
that's you again. I think you're reading the Old Testament, and
It is in the Old Testament.
I said, yeah.
It's
I
also
said
in the New
you're-
Testament. The New
It's
Testament tells slaves to obey their masters, even the cruel ones, probably 9 or 10 times.
It's not about being a slave owner. This word slave,
Yes, it is.
worker, it's not the same. You're taking the context
is.
of the word and changing
I'm
it.
not.
You are. It's
I'm
like
not.
saying-
You are. You're trying to make it fit your frame, and I'm trying to make it fit the actual
I'm not
frame.
making. I'm not
God
making it.
says you
I'm not
can
making it
own
fit my
slaves.
frame. God did not
Huh?
say you can own slaves.
Yes, he did.
He didn't. You're
Yes, he
taking.
did.
It's the
Have
same
you read
way-
the Bible?
I have, in the same way this, and I know the history that slave owners took the
What
word
was the
of
letter
God
from Paul to Philemon about?
about how he had a worker, but he called him a slave. The word slave was a worker. Philemon did
No,
not have a slave.
That's just false.
He had a worker who worked for him.
He had a runaway worker.
Yes, he wasn't a slave.
Workers
He
can
wasn't-
run away, bud, not slaves. There's no such thing as a runaway worker. That makes no
He
sense, and you know
he
it.
wasn't he wasn't a slave.
He
The
was
word-
a slave. It's a doulos.
Just because the word slave is used does not mean that the word itself means.
Just words don't mean anything, do they? I had a
that's
feeling that's
true.
where you might go with it.
I mean, that's just true.
Words don't mean words. It says that, but it don't mean
No,
that. It says slave, but it means a free person. I mean, clearly.
The word.
Anyway,
yeah, that's
the book
that's
of
the word.
Philemon is actually the actual context of the one that you're lying about. Is Paul
I'm not
asking
lying
him
about it.
to accept his slave back who has run away as a brother in Christ, right?
Yeah. So okay. So he wasn't just a
Yeah.
worker.
So why didn't Paul say, "Hey, you're a Christian. You're not supposed to be owning slaves"?
He did say he was a Christian. He talked about his faith. He talked about.
I
how
know, and he
strong
did
his
not
faith
say, "As a Christian, you're not supposed to own slaves."
because he
Release
never
him
was
now.
only
He
a
said,
slave.
accept your slave back as a brother.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. So if Paul's saying that, you're telling me you're telling me that he wasn't referring to him as one of his workers, because back then people were called slave, whether it was by someone or just in general. That was the term
That's
used
not
to
true.
refer to.
No, it's not.
Yes, it was.
No,
That is.
that's a lie. You're just ignorant as fuck.
I feel like you're being ignorant because you're basically saying that God is evil.
I'm not. I know the actual words. I know the context they're used in. I know the sentences they're used in, and I know the general frames that they're used in. The Bible 100% condones, endorses, and glorifies slavery in every sense of the word.
No, it does
and when
not.
it says slave, it don't mean a worker.
It does not.
There's a
It does not
distinguishment.
condone nothing.
That's
Jesus-
bullshit. In
Jesus-
Hebrew, ebed is a slave. That means a slave. It's a word for slave. A
Jesus never
sakir
had-
is a hired or bound laborer. There's a big, big difference. They're two words with different definitions.
Did Jesus have slaves?
Jesus was a poor guy who thought the world was about to end.
Jesus was a poor guy who thought the world was about. How did he think the world was about to end?
He literally said the end of the world is coming very soon. The coming of the Son of Man. That was the end of the age. The new heaven and the new earth.
But it's not something he thought, and he wasn't speaking of his own
It
accord.
is something he thought.
It's something he knew.
Jesus talks about beating slaves all the time. Like, I don't even know. This shouldn't
What do you-
even be like a debatable topic. Like, you're just saying.
I'm
like
not.
in Luke
Okay,
chapter
so-
12, verse
okay.
46 or 7, it says, that slave who knew what his master wanted but did not prepare himself or do what was wanted will receive a severe beating. That's Jesus' words.
You said Luke chapter 12?
Yeah.
Luke chapter
Verse 47. That's Jesus talking right there. The faithful or the unfaithful slave.
Mhm.
Oh shit, there's Joel.
Verse what you said?
47.
47. And that servant who knew his master's will and did not prepare himself or do accordingly to his will shall be beaten with many stripes. So where does it say slave?
Does servants have masters? Who has a master, Nick?
A servant, the master is the head of the table, the head of the house. It's
So
someone
as a
above.
servant, you would call your employer the master.
No, but that's the language they used, is it not?
The version of the Bible you're reading is using the word servant, so it doesn't say slave. They're intentionally changing it.
It's not intentionally changing it. It's because it's not.
Literally a slave, dude.
Okay.
Slaves have masters.
Okay,
That's
but
what they're talking
hold on,
about when
hold on,
when a
hold on.
slave's master.
Okay, so again,
Do
I just-
servants get beaten?
So you're saying that you're just
You're
oh,
arguing this isn't about a slave, right?
I'm yeah, because the word slave did not mean as a
I know, and I'm trying to show you that you're wrong. It means slave. The
How?
translation you're reading is translating it as servant, so you're not reading the word slave there, and you don't feel as bad
Oh,
about
so
it.
are you
But if you
also
just read, hold on, if you just read the sentence, it says this servant has a master, and this servant will get a beating. That sounds an awful lot like a slave.
All right, so let me ask you a question. The verse in Matthew where it says, "If your right hand causes you to sin, to cut it off," do you believe that in its fullness or no?
What do you mean in
Do
its
you-
fullness?
I'm saying because the word says, "Cut off your right hand," if it caused you to sin, would you cut off your right hand?
Yeah, I think Jesus was being serious there.
Okay, so I see that you're not reading into the concept of the word. You're just looking at the base sentence of it or things and just taking it
No,
to the
I'm
literal sense.
considering the entire context. That was Jesus
telling me-
saying
so you're
you're going to
saying
spend
Jesus
eternity
wants
in
you-
hell if your hand causes you to sin. So it's better that you literally cut that fucking hand off and throw it in the trash
So
than use it to make
you
you
don't
sin.
think that it means to cut off your sin, not your literal hand. You think Jesus is
He
literally
said if
telling
your
you-
hand causes you to sin, you should cut it off.
Okay. So all right. Okay. So you just take the word literal. Okay.
I thought that's what you were asking.
So what about the Great Flood?
So what about all the passages where God says you can own slaves? It says slaves obey your masters. It says all this stuff.
Again, again, we have to
Show us
understand.
where it says,
We
as a
have to
Christian, you should
again.
not own slaves.
We have to understand the context. The word slave is not referring to a literal slave.
Yes,
That
it
is a
is.
term
It
of
is
a
someone that
worker.
has owned his property, or they have
It's not.
incurred a debt
No.
contract, or they are a captive taken in war.
Oh, okay. So a debt contract. So as a worker, what do you sign when you work for someone? You sign a what? You sign a contract
Yeah,
abiding
and
that
those are
states that
called
you are their
secure.
employer.
That's
Okay,
secure.
so you just said an employer, a contract, right?
Secure.
Signed contract.
Secure. There's a
So
word for
again,
that. Congratulations, you learned a new word today. Anyway, here's an actual PhD Hebrew Bible scholar. You want to talk to him? He wrote books on this stuff.
no, I want to speak to you because you're the one who believes that
Oh, well,
God.
here's someone who's
So
supremely an authority on this matter. So certainly you're not scared of him.
I'm not afraid of anyone. I only fear the Lord Jesus because He will rain down judgment.
Well, Dr.
on
Josh, do you think he's correct when he says this isn't referring to a slave here?
Oh no, I mean I think it's true, Nick. I mean, I think you're right that context is going to be the driving factor in how to take a particular word or phrase or understand it in its context. But yeah, I think the sections here in the law collections aren't metaphorical. I think they're intended in their original context to refer to how to deal with people that are owned as property.
So we all just have a different thought of what the word means, but he thinks that because it says slave, it means slave. I'm saying that because it doesn't mean slave, it doesn't mean slave. And obviously the doctor is saying that it just comes into how you read the context of everything. So that's basically, that's basically what it said. One man believes that God allows slavery. It's like saying that, oh, I'm not bad. God just made me bad, so it's his fault. I'm saying that no, it doesn't mean a slave because the word and even if you look at the language used in the Bible, when it says master, the master of a home, the servant, the worker, those things are just another way of talking of a worker. Jesus never had slave. Jesus never owned slave. He never condoned slavery. He never condoned anything bad. He flooded the whole earth. He flooded the whole earth because there was a rise in power and lust. He gave people a chance. The man did not want evil. He hates evil. He hates evil. How does someone who hates evil create evil or allows evil? I don't understand how that works.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of things. I think, and this is probably an important point to make clear at the outset, is that our definitions today of what we would define as immoral were often not considered immoral in the ancient world. And so like when you read things in Leviticus 19, for example, and it says love the foreigners, you love yourself. Well, yeah, I mean, today, if we were to take that on, understanding what we mean by loving someone or not oppressing someone, then slavery would obviously, fall into something that's a restricted category. Because, like we all know today, I mean, unfortunately, there are some people but anyway, but yeah. So, sorry, go ahead.
So okay, so you guys don't believe because we don't believe that the word in the form of slavery, the word in the form the form of slavery that was used in Egypt, Babylon, all these other places, it wasn't for an economic purpose, a way of using workers to gain money. That's we're saying that the word slavery back then, that Egyptians and other people had literal slaves that were doing things and were held against their will, but it wasn't the word slave. The term slavery was not a economic thing of saying this is my worker, but they just used the word slave. They didn't use the word worker. That's what we're coming to.
They had a word, and they had several words for like a hired laborer, right? That's what Ape has been saying. He's been using the word sahir, which is.
And we know slavery has been going on since the time of Moses. and those people were working for something. They worked for a money. They worked for something, but they were referred to as slaves. Slaves, when you were a slave, you gained nothing. You just worked and or were beaten. But in that time, they worked for an income. They worked to make something. Matthew was a slave to the
But they didn't
Romans.
though. They
So
didn't.
Matthew being a slave to the Romans, but he gained the income being a tax collector. He gained money. He gained something out of it. How does that make him a slave rather than a worker? He worked for the Romans. He wasn't a slave to them.
Yeah.
Or just
So
like,
the word.
Mhm.
So the word eved that appears in the Hebrew Bible, it's a cognate. I mean, not a cognate. It's it's the same way that the word wardum is used in Akkadian or anyway. The point is that a slave can have there's a range of meanings for the term eved. Somebody could be an eved as like a petty king, right? A petty king that was a vassal to a greater king that was over him would refer when he writes to his overlords that your servant, your slave, your eved writes to you. And so that it's true. It has that range of meaning. But the problem, or I think and this is why I say, like, I agree with you that the context is going to be king, right? So we have to look at the context, any given context, and say, all right, what is, when they use the word eved here, what are they referencing? What is the constellation of characteristics that we see being applied to this eved? And I think that's what Ape is saying, is that in passages like Leviticus 25, 44 to 46, or Exodus 21, or Deuteronomy 15, when it uses eved, it's referencing someone who is owned as property.
So in Exodus 21 and 26, when a man strikes an eye of his slave, male or female, and destroys it, he shall let the slave go because of his eye.
Mm-hmm.
And but we understand that slaves were beaten, were whipped. But this verse is saying that if you strike your slave, or in this case, your worker, and you hurt them to the point where you destroy their eye or whatever, you let them go. Or when a man, or like in Exodus 21:20, when a man strikes his slave, male or female, with a rod, and the slave dies under his hand, he shall be avenged. And the Hebrew word naquam, I think is how you pronounce it. It means like it's capital punishment. It means be avenged. So
It's debated, but probably.
Well, I mean, that's just what. Again, but that's just. So how is it? I don't
It's
know.
okay. Sorry, I was just referencing. Sorry, I was just referencing the term nakam there. Nakam, it's debated what it means, but
Yeah.
I agree. It probably does mean unalignment.
And even in the New Testament, when Jesus talks about the thief or the servants in the master's home, we understand that the master, the one who is above, the one who is in charge, and the servant, the one who works for the master, but the servant can't be the master. It's like even Jesus uses the references of a worker, someone who obviously there's one above, and even in Colossians 3, you work for your worker. They don't talk about slavery. Paul doesn't talk about slaves, but you do your best, you give your all, but not for man, but for the Lord Jesus, for he will give you reward. It's not talking about being a slave, though. It's talking about being a worker.
So let me see if we can make this a little more concrete. In Leviticus 25, the reason that people go to that passage is because you have very clear descriptions of what it means in that context to be an eved, right? However, we're going to translate that word. So in verses 44 to 46, it says that whatever this eved or amah, the two Hebrew words that are used there, whatever they are purchased, they are kept as property, they are passed on as inheritance to the owner's children, and they're made to serve as eveds for life. So it's those characteristics that when scholars come to this, they say, all right, how should we translate this term? Well, if you have someone that's purchased with money, that's owned as property, that's passed on as inheritance, and that is made to serve for life, like we refer to that as a chattel slave.
So are me and you slaves? Do you have a job
No,
by chance?
I do, and I'm not a slave.
And that job, but that job, they pay you, right? You're owned by them in a way. You work for them.
No, I'm definitely not owned by them.
No, but you work for them. You're under a contract with them.
Sure, but I'm not owned by them.
But you still work for them. You do as they say. They tell you
Yes,
lift
we
it.
work for them. We are not owned by them. Clear distinction. There you
So
go.
how? So okay. So you said Leviticus 25. You said. Okay. All right. So in Leviticus 25, let's go to. I think it's verse. Where is it? I was asking a question. I wasn't trying to, just
No,
saying.
you're good.
I feel like, because even in this modern time, could you not say that we're all slaves? We just work for someone who pays us?
The problem is, Nick, like the reason that sort of, I'll tell you, I don't know if you know who like Frank Turek is, if you're familiar with that. He's a big name Christian apologist. And it makes me throw up a little in my mouth when I hear him talk about slavery. Because I think you and I both know, just looking at him, he's in one of the most privileged categories of human, right, in the United States.
Who are you referring to?
This guy, Frank Turek. And when he says, something like that, right? Like slavery is just kind of like a modern day job. I've heard people say it's like having a credit card today. And the problem, and one of the problems that I see, is that it takes the atrocities that happened in the antebellum South, and it minimizes them. When we say stuff like that, like nobody. There was one guy that came in here, Ape. I don't know if it was last week, but somebody came in here and said, if you pay taxes, you're a slave. And so I came up and I said to him, yeah, but like if we jumped in a time machine and went back to 1840 and walked out on a plantation and said to the slaves that were out there in the field, listen, I know you think you're a slave, but your master's a slave too. He pays taxes. So I would expect to get punched in the face repeatedly, right? And of course I think we know why, because even though there is some of the characteristics can overlap, certainly not a sufficient amount to say this is this other thing. I don't know if that made sense, but anyway, sorry, you were turning to the passage. If you want to read it.
So in Leviticus 25:39, and if one of your brothers who dwells by you becomes poor and sells himself to you, you shall not compel him to serve as a slave. As a hired servant and a sojourner, he shall be with you and shall serve you until the year of Jubilee. And so I understand, people go to Leviticus 25, but again, I think it matters because if, even in the context we see, he shall be hired, it says, if he wants to sell himself to you. So it's basically, hey, let me work for you. Let me do these things for you. Let me
absolutely right. We totally agree with you.
So how is that?
Now read verse 44.
Hold on.
We don't. There's nothing to debate there. We totally agree that is saying. Hold on. Just stop for a second.
No.
All right. So what that is saying is, if someone tries to sell themselves to you because you are poor, you shall not make them serve as a slave. We agree with you. That doesn't need any further explanation. So now, read verse 44. Then you can unmute. Certainly knows how to unmute. Nick, you gotta unmute yourself.
Oh, I didn't mute myself. I don't know how I muted. Okay. All right, well, he said verse 45.
So we agree with you. Verse 39 is saying you can't make them serve as a slave if they try to sell themselves to you. Now read verse 44.
Okay. Moreover, you may buy the children of the strangers. 44 or 45?
Read verse 44, then 45.
Okay, and and as for your male and female slaves, whom you may have from the nations that are around you, from them you may buy male and female slaves. Moreover, you may buy the children of the strangers who dwell among you, and their families who are with you, which they beget in your land, and they shall become your property. Okay. So what's the difference between what I read?
You don't understand what happened just then?
I see the same type of context, but it's just saying if you have
No,
why?
sir. Verse 39 says, if a Hebrew tries to sell themselves to you, you shall not make them serve as a slave. Then it goes on in verse 44 to tell them, as for the slaves whom you may have, it is from the nations around you that you may acquire those slaves. It's saying you can't make a Hebrew serve as a debt slave, but if you want chattel slaves, just buy them from the nations around you, from the foreigners who are residing with you, and they are your chattel slave.
So you're just reading it as, but if you have slaves already, but you're not reading it as the male and female workers or servants who you may have.
See, now you're changing the words again. You read 39, and wow, we agreed straight up on that one where it says don't make them serve as a slave. You acknowledge that real quick.
Because
so if it said do make them serve as a slave, now there's issues with the wording.
No, because I'm not doing that, because you're only reading the first part.
Dr. Josh, if you want to ask him anything else,
you're only reading the first part of 39. You're only reading the first part of 39. Well, wait, but before Dr. Josh, so I just want to ask you, though, about the evilness of God. So, again, you just simply see that he thinks that because the word slave is used in the Old Testament and how the word is used, he thinks that it literally means a slave owner. But there's no good. So has God done any good? Has Jesus done any good in this world? Abe, or no?
I'm good. Dr. Josh, you can address him if you want.
So the man doesn't want to speak. Okay, got it. Mr. Josh?
I think so I think the big takeaway from that section of Leviticus 25 is that, and it's in a broader context of the other slave laws that show up in Exodus 21 and Deuteronomy 15. In those passages, Israelites were allowed to take other Israelites as debt slaves. They just had to release them after 6 years. But here in Leviticus, go ahead, sorry.
So again, if they were, doesn't that sound like a contract if they had to let someone go? Because slaves never had to let someone go. If you were a slave owner, why would you have to let someone go after a certain amount of time? You had them. If you owned them, they were yours. They were yours, but there was something that said you had to let them go.
Yeah, sorry. There are three primary categories of the types of slaves you see in the ancient world. But the two that I think are under discussion now are debt slave and chattel slave. Right? A debt slave is temporary ownership.
No, my argument is the type of slavery that we saw was workers, economic slavery. It was a slavery that in the word slavery, it wasn't that it was by force, but it was a choice that was given to the people that if they wanted to be the slave of a master of a home or anything, that was a willing choice that they made to make an income, to make a financial decision for themselves and or for the person.
Well,
but it wasn't by force.
It's not an income that.
But they made something out of it, though. They gained something out of it. They made a financial decision.
Right. But what is it that they gained? I think that's important. What is it that they gained?
It could have been a multitude of things. It could have been money. It could have been a place to sleep.
It's not money. It's not money. Once they start making it, once they make an income, that's not slavery.
But okay, so again, you're not listening to me. I'm saying you guys don't want to accept that because the word slave, what you know slave to be, slaves don't make money. What I'm telling you is in that time in Egypt, in Babylon, and all these other various places, They were slaves, but workers, a financial
They
slave
weren't though,
earning
Nick.
something.
Just dishonest.
Nick, I know you probably, and it's okay. Like, I have some background in this. So, like, that's why I think Leviticus 25:39-43 is so important in this context. I'm glad you read it. Because what the text is saying is that as for, like, just for fellow Israelites, if a fellow Israelite falls into such a level of poverty that they have to sell themselves to you because that's all they have left is themselves, the law says you're not allowed to make them a slave, an eved. Instead, the text says, like, so not a slave, not an eved, but instead a sahir. And the word sahir in Hebrew, the reason it's translated like hired worker, or, whatever, paid employee, whatever it is that they're translating it now, is that those are people that are working for an income.
Okay.
So the text is contrasting those two states. You can't make them a slave. You have to make them a hired worker. So those are different.
Oh, so basically, don't let them work for free. Let them gain something. If they want to work for free, don't allow them to work for free. Just let them work for something.
So
if they're true, that's. But I'm asking.
Yeah.
So in Leviticus 25, the poor man says, "I'm that poor. Let me work for you for free. Let me be with you, help you, whatever it is." It says, don't make him a slave. Don't let him work for free for nothing. Instead, give him something.
That's right.
He wants to work for you. He's choosing
Again, we agree with you 100%. You're addressing the part contextually when it says not slave. When it says do slave, that's when you start arguing.
But again, understand this though. Again, he's willingly choosing to be a slave. Slaves were not back then.
Let's talk about that. Well, let's talk about that because I know it's a fair point, and I think that under the law, that's true. But I think that we would have to discuss duress and the effect of duress upon that choice. Right? This is a bit of an extreme example, but if somebody holds a pew to my head. Which, by the way, I'm now saying pew in real life, like in conversations with people in real life. And it's just so funny. I say grape and I say pew, and they look at me like, what is wrong with you? Anyway, but, if somebody holds that to my head and says, give me all your money, I may willingly, again, extreme example here, I may willingly give that to them, but that willingness is under duress, right? No, like in court, the person that held that pew to my head wouldn't be able to say, Your Honor, he voluntarily gave me his wallet. It's like, yeah, I mean, sure, but it was under duress, right? And I think the same is going to be true here. We see an example of this actually in 2 Kings 4, where you have a widow woman who her husband, who was a prophet, had taken out a loan, and then he unalived. And then the wife couldn't repay the loan. And so she calls out to Elisha and says, help me because the creditor is coming to take my 2 children away. Legally, under the law, that would have been considered a voluntary act. The law, like the creditor's not under the law forcing the children like against their will, because under the law, they signed up for it. But I think you and I would recognize that we wouldn't call that voluntary, right? We'd see a difference.
But they signed up for something now, didn't they?
Right.
Did they know the risk? Did they know what it meant if something were to happen? Like, if my father.
Sure, but they probably didn't have a choice. Nick, they probably didn't have a choice, right? If the choice was starve or take out this loan so that you can buy some grain to sow your field, like. But that's duress. That's what I mean. These aren't mercantile loans. These aren't business loans that people are taking out, right? They're not like, that prophet that unalived. Like he wasn't like, I'm gonna do some venture capital. No, he's like, I gotta live, right? I gotta get some food. So I think that's an important bit here in Leviticus 25, and then I'll shut up. Sorry, I'm talking a lot. In Leviticus 25, that part of the chapter, it's dealing with an Israelite slave who continued, like it's like he's on the hardest times possible, and he continues to fall into poverty. And the law is saying, look, other Israelites, you gotta help him. You gotta help him. You gotta help him. So that's why, and I'll land here, sorry. That's why verses 44 to 46, they if you read it straight through it, they appear like a little parenthetical law, because it's talking about Israelites. And then it says, okay, so if you can't take a fellow Israelite as a slave, where do you get your slaves from? So then you have 44 to 46. If you want slaves, can't get them from Israelites. You got to get them from foreigners that are living in the nations around you, or those that are living in the land with you. Sorry, that was a lot.
No, I understand.
Then it literally goes on to say, these are the ones you can pass on to your children as inheritance, and you can treat them as slaves. But as for your fellow Israelites, no one shall rule over the other with harshness. There's clear distinctions here between a slave and a worker, and a Hebrew and everybody else.
Okay. I understand. So I guess just my one kind of final question, I guess. So has God done anything good in this world? Has Jesus done anything good?
Not that I know of.
So he's done nothing good.
It's completely useless, in my opinion. What's good?
So the debt of our sin, that's not good.
If sin means not throwing the rock at the disobedient children, then I'm a happy sinner, because I'm not killing kids on God orders.
So,
and again, this all started, you remember what this started from? This started from me saying it is not a sin to a Christian to beat a slave. It's expressly permitted. And you said, yes, it is. But we just spent the last half hour going over where it's definitely not a sin.
So off the Old Testament, in the law, it potentially wasn't a sin, or it wasn't something wrong. But
so you're telling me that something that wasn't a sin in the Old Testament is a sin in the New Testament?
So let me get this straight. You're telling me that you would go, if you had a slave, quote unquote slave, and you would go beat that slave up to the ends of their life, you did nothing wrong. They didn't do nothing.
Not in the eyes of God or Jesus, no.
Wow. Lord have mercy. Oh my gosh.
You should be saying that, and you should run from this fucking religion as fast as you possibly can, because I actually got that story that I was talking about. I got that from Jesus. I stole Jesus' story, and you told me it was a sin.
No, you didn't steal it. No.
Oh, I certainly did. You want to read it?
No, it just sounds like...
Yeah, let's just go read it. I'm going to show you where I stole Jesus' story, and you called it a sin, you blasphemer. Listen, it says, who among you would say to your slave who has just come in from plowing the field or tending the sheep, come here at once and take your place at the table? Would you rather not say to him, prepare supper for me and put on your apron while I'll eat and drink, and later you may eat and drink? Do you thank the slave for doing what was commanded? So you also, when you have done all that you were ordered to do, say, we are but worthless slaves, and we have done only what we ought to have done. I stole that story from Jesus, asked you if it was a sin, and you said yes.
Hey, read the story again. Say it again.
Who among you would say to your slave who has just come in from plowing the field or tending the sheep in the field, come here at once and take your place at the table? Would you not rather say to him, prepare supper for me, put on your apron and serve me while I eat and drink, and later you may eat and drink? Do you thank the slave for doing what was commanded? So you also, when you have done all that you were ordered to do, say, we are worthless slaves, and we have done only what we ought to have done.
So he said, so basically Jesus said, if your slave comes in, do you just simply invite him to the table, or are you just simply going to invite him to the table? But does it not make more sense to say, hey, why don't you prepare some food?
I'm just saying, I used the line from the story earlier when I asked you if it was a sin.
So Jesus,
I don't need a recap of the story from you. I'm just telling you.
Because I don't understand what was wrong about that story. What did he say? I'm asking. What did he
This
say?
is what I asked you was a sin earlier, and
No,
you
you
said it
asked me
was.
if
But I was
beating your
actually just
if
stealing Jesus'
beating your
story, and then you called Jesus a sinner. Is what I tricked you.
When did he say you should beat up your? When did he say you should beat up your slave in there? When did he say you should beat him up to the end of his life?
I didn't put that part in there.
You
I
did.
said,
You
suppose
did.
that
You're
you're
lying.
no.
You
That's
did.
not what the fuck I said. Stop
Yes, it
it.
is.
I
Yes,
said
no.
All right, get out of here. You
No. Don't be
fucking
mad at me now.
liar. Get the fuck out of here. You've been lying through this whole goddamn thing. Fuck you, bullshitter. Don't bullshit a bullshitter. Ain't that how they say it? All right. Still a few people in the queue here. Liar. Truth hurts. You wouldn't know the fucking truth if it smacked you upside your stupid fucking head. Truth. That's fucking hilarious. Get the fuck out of here. Truth. That's fucking funny. Hey, Grant, you there?
Yes, sir.
Hey, what's up, man? Are you one of their Christians?
All right, yes, sir.
Cool. So what you want to talk about?
What a topic.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, who invented slavery?
In the Bible, God.
God invented slavery?
Yeah.
That's God's intentions?
Apparently, I mean, I imagine he had an intention for it if he invented it.
Were Adam and Eve slaves?
I don't know. To God, sure.
So they worked?
Yeah, it says he made them to plow. He said, I ain't got nobody to
beat 'em
plow
up.
my fields. And then he
And
made
beat 'em up
humans to
in the
plow a
garden?
field for him. Huh?
Did they work?
Yeah.
If you pay attention to the scripture, they didn't make the garden, God did.
Yeah, I know.
So I'm gonna ask you again an honest question. Were Adam and Eve slaves?
I have no idea. They were slaves to God, sure.
They were slaves? What was their
There wasn't another person to own them. He couldn't sell them to anybody.
So God's original intent was what?
Fuck, I don't know. What are you asking me? I don't know what you're
Did
getting
Adam
at.
and Eve pay rent?
What?
Did Adam and Eve pay rent?
No.
Right, so they were free, right?
No.
So was there any slavery or any beating or any violence in the garden?
Why are you talking about the garden?
Because we're talking about God's intent. You're trying to say God is evil
I'm
and
talking
intended
about
slavery.
actual slavery ordained in the Bible in the real world, and you're talking about in the garden. Nobody's in the garden, man.
So the garden wasn't the real world. Isn't that part of the Bible?
I don't know why you keep bringing the garden up. It's not part of the conversation.
Because you're picking and choosing. See, you're trying
It doesn't. No.
You're
No,
trying
I'm
to
not.
say
We got
God
kicked out of the garden.
invented
No,
slavery.
dude, just stop. We got
God
kicked
didn't-
out
no,
of
don't
the
stop. God
garden.
did not invent
We're
slavery.
gone out of the garden. This is after
People
the
did.
garden, okay?
Right. So what was God's intent?
Right.
You're trying to say God's intent was slavery. God's
God
intent
allowed
was for
slavery.
people to
He
live
says
free
you are a slave. As a Christian,
and good.
you're a fucking slave to God.
You
You're
can't be
enslaved to
honest.
him.
See, whenever this
I
question
am being
comes up,
honest.
it's always the same.
You can't address the actual
No, you're
point.
not. Adam and Eve
Yes, I am.
were free.
Stop
There was no
talking
sin.
about Adam and Eve. They have
According to
nothing
the Bible,
to fucking
we're saying
do
the
with
same
this.
book, Adam and Eve were free.
All right,
Sin
listen.
came in.
You're
and
going to
that
have
was
to
the
get on the actual
degradation
topic here.
of human- That's the topic.
All right.
You're trying.
All right, get the fuck out of here. You got to be able to have an actual conversation here, people. Holy shit. Damn. Oh, fuck. Missed a golden opportunity there. Shit. I won't say nothing yet, though. Hey, bud, you there? Guest, are you there? Hello, guest. Cool something? Cool whip? Oh, well. Coolest whip. That was it. I don't think he was here on purpose. Well, that sucks. I got rid of the other guy a second too quick there. Dude, you can request back up if you want, but you're actually going to have a conversation and address the actual point here. I do not know why you keep talking about Adam and Eve. Like, this is after that. We're kicked out of the fucking garden. We're talking about after the fact. All right.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. So
Okay.
you're aware we're talking about after the garden, right?
Okay. So you're when you go to court, right? Your claim is that God is evil and he invented slavery. That's your claim, right?
Yeah.
Okay. God did not invent slavery.
Okay.
Tell me when God invented slavery.
When he made everything in existence.
He invented slavery?
Did he invent everything?
Tell me when he invented slavery.
When he invented everything.
Why did God kick Adam and Eve out the garden?
Because they ate a magical fruit that he told them not to.
Because they disobeyed, right? They became sinful.
Yeah.
Okay. So who did the first murder? According to the scriptures.
Listen, I really do want to talk to you, Grant,
So-
but I'm
so-
only going
so
to say, listen,
just let me
just
say
shut
this.
the
Just let me
fuck
say
up
this
for
before I
2
leave.
seconds.
So
My
let me say
God,
this,
man. This
'cause
is
you're gonna cut me off, 'cause you
never
can't
mind.
handle the
Yeah,
truth.
get the fuck out of here, you dumb motherfucker. God damn. Ugh. What a fucking idiot. Like a child, man. Alright, let's bring alright, D-Man and then James is next. Hey D-Man, you there?
Hey, what's going on? How you doing?
Doing good, man. Are you a Christian?
You know what? I'm not Christian, but I do have beliefs in something different more than most people aren't open-minded to learn because most people aren't
Oh.
open-minded. But if you want to
Yeah,
talk
that's
about that, we
cool.
can talk about that.
No, we're just looking to debate Christians, man.
Oh shit. Well, you know, I believe in a type of God, so I don't know if you wanna.
Don't. Just looking for debates with Christians. Not Fredo the Christian. He's not capable of a coherent thought either. All right. So I'm going to give it like 2 minutes fucking tops. And then I'm out for the day. It's already been over 3 hours. It's too long for me. Man, again, I'm reminded of the vast difference between atheist and Christian lives. An atheist will get kicked off a Christian live in 5 minutes. I've never lasted more than 5 minutes on one. But like atheists will try long and hard to get a Christian to understand the fucking point. We're begging motherfuckers to come up here and talk to us. It's like polar opposites, aren't we? Anyway, that sucks. I booted the guy the first time, right as we would have had a very special guest requesting up, which I feel like I missed that opportunity, but it's all right. That's all right. I will pray for healing you. Anyway, give it a minute and a half. If we get another request up in the next minute and a half, then we'll have another conversation. If not, I'm going to go ahead and shut her down for the day. For the old day there. I had a shitload of people in the box. They don't have much Holy Spirits patience, though. That's what I meant to say there. Holy Spirit patience. Holy Spirit patience. It's like, being able to wait. Not like a patient in the hospital, like Holy Spirit patient, like you're a patient in the hospital. That's not what I meant. I know words get confusing out there sometimes. It says slave, but it don't mean that. Clearly, it means a free person. What a weird day it's been, man. It's been like the polar opposite day. It's fucking weird. Anyway, if any Christians are out there and you want to talk with a real living, for real live, absolutely authentic atheist, then come on up, because Jesus is definitely evil. We got to talk y'all out of this mess here. This is rough. It's bad. It's a stain on humanity's tidy whities. and it should be treated as such. And when I say stand on tidy whities, I'm talking about a Christian religion here. Yeah, okay. Anyway, 1 minute. We'll give it one more minute. If any Christians want to actually come up and have a conversation, that would be cool. But if not, we'll hand it over to the next content creator out there. And one of these days here real soon, I'm going to figure out how to actually dual stream on TikTok and YouTube one of these days. I've got a couple folks said they would show me how, but it's actually, they're really busy folks too, so it's really hard to get it done. But one of these days, it'll happen, man. One of these days real soon too. So I'm going to stay on it. Then we're going to dual stream to both worlds. Yeah, I've actually got OBS and actually did quite a bit of research, but my brain couldn't put it all together. I couldn't do it. I could not do it. Oops. Wait, we gotta. Oh, never mind. If that was an accidental request, or actually, I think I accidentally dropped that. Request back up there, whoever that was. My bad. I think somebody requested up and I kicked them on accident. Shite. It's been a lively day, hasn't it? Hasn't it? Actually, they're pretty, even, I guess we're, for lack of a better term here, I guess we're sort of blessed with the algorithm. Even the slow days, we still have pretty good conversations, so. We usually don't sit here for too long. Every now and then there's a super weird day where we do, but it doesn't happen too much, so that's cool. But what the fuck? How do you go from like 10 people in the guest queue to nobody all of a sudden? I'm not sure if I even actually want to talk to anybody else. So. Anyway, last call, 30 seconds. Last call. If any Christians want to talk about the topic here, then come on up. The only thing we ask is that you are capable of an actual conversation, like a actual for real grown up. That would be cool. Oh, here's somebody. Howdy, Alex. Are you there?
Yep, I'm up.
What's up?
JT
Awesome.
wanted me up here.
Cool. Are you one of the Christians?
Yep, I'm a Christian all the way, man.
Awesome. So what do you want to talk about on the topic here? You got something in mind, or you just want me to tell you why I think God and Jesus are evilist?
What do you think? What fake lie do you want to talk about? What do atheists like to talk about?
God and Jesus being evil.
God and Jesus are the best, man.
Oh, they're evil.
They're not evil.
They are evil.
I think you're brainwashed.
Oh. Well, I just read the Bible and it says they like murder.
I read the Bible all the time. Well, you don't understand the Bible.
Raped and stuff, and
you don't understand the Bible. You don't understand the Bible, then. Anybody can read the Bible, but do you understand it?
Yeah.
Exactly. You don't understand the Bible. You can read it, but you don't understand it.
You went exactly.
You don't understand it. You just understand what you read, but you don't really understand the meaning. So there's a difference between
what does it
reading the
mean when
Bible
it says you
and
can own a
understanding
slave?
it.
So what does it mean when
you don't understand it?
That's great. So could you actually explain it for us then? You could actually be a Christian like you're supposed to be, and help us come to salvation and explain what this actually meant and make it make sense for us. And maybe you'll help us
Make it make sense. Well,
come to the Lord.
Come to the Lord. All right. Well.
So what is it talking about when it says, as for the male and female slaves whom you may have, it's from the nations around you that you may acquire male and female slaves. What do you think that actually means? Because I feel like that's saying that as long as they're foreigners around you and you purchase them, you can own people as property.
Well, Jesus was talking about what people do, he wouldn't do that, He just talked about what people would do around him,
Yeah. Yeah, he's saying people can do that, though.
People would do that. He wouldn't do that. He would think that's bad, He would be like,
Well, no, God says all his commands are good.
His commands are good. That's true.
Yeah, so if he commands you to go take women and children as captives in war, that's a good thing, right?
He didn't say that.
It does in Deuteronomy 20.
People would do that were doing wrong around him. That was never him.
Well, he told them. He's the one that told them to go do it.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
That's why I said you need to understand the Bible before you read it.
Well, I guess I don't understand it then.
You don't
explain
understand
it for us,
it.
though. Well, I mean,
you just
so
like
you can
to.
explain it for us, right?
Well, how can I explain it to somebody that doesn't believe in the Bible? That's like talking to a
Well,
wall.
the Holy Spirit will tell you what to say. You won't even have to decide.
It's like
yourself.
talking to a wall that doesn't
What are you
care
talking
what
about?
you say.
Use the Holy Spirit, man. It's going to put the words
But
in
do
your
you hear
mouth.
me?
Yeah.
That's like talking to a wall that doesn't care what you say.
Yeah, so God says, you may, however, take as your plunder the women, the children, the livestock, and everything else in the town, all that spoil. You may enjoy the spoils of your enemy, which the Lord your God has given you. So God has given them women and children as captives, right?
No.
Or do I not understand that? Okay.
You
What does
don't
that
understand
actually
it.
mean? What does it
That's why I
actually
say you
mean?
need to read it carefully to understand it, man.
Well, I'll read it as careful as you want me to. So what does it actually mean?
Whoa, man. If I tell you, you're still gonna be like, no, it still says this in the Bible. It's like talking to a wall.
Tell us what it actually means.
There's really no point with somebody that's already
Okay, well,
made
then
their
what did you come up
decision
here
in
for?
life.
Did you come up here to cry and
They
say
made
I
their
can explain
decision in
things to
life
people that
to
won't
choose
understand my
whatever they want to,
explanations?
man.
Did you come up here to lick Christian buttholes? What are you doing
Huh?
up here?
No,
What?
I didn't come to lick atheist buttholes though.
You came to lick atheist
I
buttholes?
didn't come to lick no atheist butthole. I think you atheists are a bunch of idiots that don't believe in anything.
So you don't want to look at it. Just to be clear, you don't want to look at
You're the
atheist
licker.
butthole.
You're the licker here.
Oh.
You're the butt licker. I know, that's how you sound. That's how you sound when they put it in your asshole.
All right. Well, I think that was a great last conversation. Oh, shit. Anyway. Well, y'all heard it there. Christians do, in fact, want to lick the atheist buttholes. So there's power in the name. All right. So I've been trying to think all week of good closers. So I'm just going to use fuck ICE, trans rights or human rights, free Palestine. We'll be back tomorrow to pick up the fight, guys. Y'all have a wonderful day. Much love. Thanks.